Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. A little bit of an early start here, planned on a 6 o'clock start. It's currently 5:22 p.m. here on the East Coast. We started at 5:20, and yeah, we're going to be covering a risk for a long-tracked MCS to a derecho today, all the way from Wyoming to most likely Wisconsin. So let's go and see what we have in here today. We have Rudy, also have Storm Dakota, Weather Tracker Caleb, Velocity Proxy, Emily. Glad to have you guys all in here yet again for another stream. And let's go right ahead and dive on into it. I do believe that tornado warning was allowed to expire, so we're going to switch to this scene until I can... Wow, I'm really leaning back far in my chair there, huh? It's going to be a long one. It is going to be a long one today. We'll likely be live all the way till 10, 11 o'clock tonight. At least 3+ hours today due to the high-end risk for severe weather. 90-mile-an-hour winds possible. 80-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Couple tornadoes will be possible. We are joined today by the one and only Connor Croft. He is currently out there heading towards the Supercell. I'll show you guys real quick in Nebraska. That is his current look on his feed. So we'll be monitoring his feed throughout the day. And as we continue to see more and more interesting things on his feed, I will show it quite constantly up here on this screen. So yeah, we currently have a pretty strong MCS ongoing. Definitely not a derecho at the moment. And it's warned for, I believe, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Yep, 70-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail, and the potential for a tornado can't be ruled out here. We did have quite the strong area of rotation that caught me off guard back a couple scans ago, just about 15-20 minutes ago. We had a pretty strong area of rotation to the south of Rochford in southwestern South Dakota. I would not be shocked if that dropped a quick spin-up tornado out there whatsoever. Let me go ahead and switch over to this one, this one, this one. A lot of stuff. I have to get going back up here because for the first time in 20 days, we're doing another coverage stream. And hopefully this will be our last coverage stream for a while. Tomorrow doesn't look that interesting. So hopefully these things become less and less needed as we go throughout the rest of 2024. We do have a Supercell fired out here in Atkinson. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Here's your risk for severe weather. I'll turn off the Let's see. I cannot turn off. There you go. Turn off that watch. So we have a very, very large enhanced risk for severe weather that stretches all the way from west central Wisconsin through a good chunk of Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, almost all the way back into Wyoming. So a very, very large level 3 risk, primarily for damaging winds, a couple spin up tornadoes, and very large hail, potentially upwards of 4-inch in diameter, depending on if we can see those discrete storms or not. I didn't put 4-inch in the title, at least I don't think I did, because personally, I don't think we're going to be able to see enough discrete storms in order to get to that 4-inch mark. But it's on the table. So let's go ahead and dive on into our, actually, before I dive into that, let me just turn on the watches so I don't forget to do that. But I want to dive on into our probabilities. This is the most widespread and highest end probabilities we've seen probably ever since the Chicago derecho back in early July this year, about a month ago, if not more than that from now. Tornado risk for today, they have extended that 5% chance for tornadoes into a good chunk of Minnesota, South Dakota, and even into Iowa now. If you tuned into yesterday's live weather briefing, we had a tiny little 5% back out somewhere up in here, maybe a little bit more east, but they've expanded that. It is now a large 5% chance for tornadoes and a very large 2% chance for tornadoes surrounding that as well. Damaging wind risk today, it's biggins. We have this hatched area, this black dotted line. If you're in that black dotted line, that means right off the bat, you have the possibility for 75 plus mile an hour winds. And if you're in that red black hatched area, which this includes very populated cities like the Twin Cities in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Rochester, Minnesota, Bloomington, Minnesota, you guys will have the risk for 80 mile per hour winds likely, as well as 90 mile per hour winds possible. Large hail is very much on the table today, specifically further on the west side of that enhanced risk for severe weather. That's where we have the threat for upwards of 3.5, potentially even as high as 4-inch in diameter hail, with 3-inch hail currently being expected out there in that red black hatched area. And definitely a big day today overall. Very large risk. We have over 23,000 people. 23,000. No. 23 million people inside that slight risk and enhanced risk for severe weather. And we also have an additional near 60 million people inside that marginal risk for severe weather as well. North Liberty, Iowa, friend, level 3, 4. So depends on where. Let me see if I can figure out where that is. So it's very far northwestern Iowa's under that enhanced risk for severe weather. So that area is perfectly fine today, Liberty, Iowa. You could still see some rain showers, but you're not in the main risk. Same towards Centerville as well. The main risk is going to be in extremely far northwestern Iowa, maybe even getting down as far south as Sioux City, Iowa as well. It just depends on exactly where this line tracks. So we did work out a lot of uncertainties yesterday when we did our live briefing. There was a lot of uncertainties on exactly if we'd see that afternoon convection fire towards 4 p.m. We did. It actually kicked off at 1 p.m. Eastern, all the way up here northwest of Alexandria. And so we've had a severe watch out there for a while. Those storms are actually just now starting to get going. That is a full-fledged supercell. Those storms are just now starting to get going again. Yeah, that is a Tor possible severe, and we might even get a warning on that. This is a very large supercell here going into Wilmar, Minnesota. Isn't it crazy? I could literally tell that this was a supercell from this low resolution here. That could very easily get a warning. If it does get a warning, we do have our software that will scream at us. It'll give us a beep if we do end up with a tornado warning today, which we've already had one. But I do want to look at this a little bit further here. Yeah, that is definitely rotating. You can see the inflow and outflow right in here meeting on the velocity to the southwest of Wilmar, Minnesota. I would not be shocked at all if that is tornadic at the moment. It is a Tor possible severe, so if you're in this severe thunderstorm warning in Minnesota, you need to be indoors, away from doors and windows, and close to your safe spot just in case we do have that tornado warning come through here. So just want to keep a very close eye on that storm because it is a supercell storm, which means it's rotating and it could produce a tornado. If it continues in that very favorable environment. This is our line, our MCS. Personally, I don't think it will be a derecho just simply because it's too, it's a more localized line. We don't have this extremely large line of damaging winds. We have just really this one batch right here. If we go to the newest frame, yeah, we really just have this one batch of severe storms, and that should stay severe for a very long time. It looks like that's going to continue all the way into Wisconsin very late tonight. And definitely going to have the opportunity to produce at 90-mile-an-hour winds. The only thing that I personally am very much questioning here is the instability department out here, the instability side of things. If we take a look at our meso analysis from GR Earth, which sometimes isn't the most accurate thing, but I do want to show it just because we won't have to switch our sites here. Let's see, should be this one. Yeah, so you can see this severe storm here is in a decently favorable environment in terms of instability. These storms are going to move eastward, and I'm questioning if they're going to be able to survive that area with little to no instability out here in south central South Dakota. So that's the area that I'm most questioning on what's going to happen. Will this line continue eastward and die out? Will the line start to sag more southward like this and follow that boundary and do something more like this? The HRRR kind of shows that. Or will it just straight up die out here and then the rest of the enhanced risk will be good to go and barely see anything? So definitely questioning that big gap of instability over south central South Dakota. But out here in Minnesota, you can see it as full-time fuel zone out here. Fully uncapped atmosphere of just a ridiculous amount of instability over Minnesota and Wisconsin. That will eventually be capped out, so those storms will eventually die out. I don't believe those are going to die out until probably 10, 11 o'clock tonight as they enter Wisconsin. So those will probably be quite long-lived. Let's go and take a look at your HRRR model just to show you guys the future whilst we don't have any tornado warnings. We might be getting a new model run in here very soon. Okay, not yet. But this is our line that we're currently dealing with here. About 5 p.m. Eastern is this model run's time here. Progresses off to the east, and you can see once it hits that area with less instability, it really doesn't affect the line on this particular HRRR model, and it just continues to punch through that area of lacklustering instability through Minnesota, and then actually gains a little bit of strength and width as it goes into eastern Minnesota and Wisconsin towards 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have another older model run, 18Z. I want to see what that does. So that does kind of what I was talking about before, where these storms die off in that area lacking instability, and it moves just slightly more south. But still really the same scenario there, just the storms are a little bit more south than what they are on the 20Z model run. So we'll see what plays out there, but storms won't get into that instability hole until probably 9, 10 o'clock tonight. So that's quite a while away there. Let's see. I'm going to go back to this storm here. The only reason why I think this storm might not be able to become tornadic is favoring cell mergers here. We have a lot of storms on the south flank of this storm. So here's your hook. Your hook's here. That's your supercell. And then we also have all this convection feeding into the supercell as it goes up towards Wilmar. And eventually later down the line, Grove City. So we'll definitely need to watch that one very, very closely. But hopefully the lack of discreteness with this, thanks to those southern storms, will keep this from becoming very tornadic. So yeah, back over to South Dakota. Oh, is that? Yeah, that's a new considerable severe out there. So this is definitely going to be a lot more of a wind bag. We could very easily see spin up tornadoes with this line, but it's going to be a whole lot more of a damaging wind threat as it moves off to the east here. I do want to go back over here really quick. So if we're going to see the very large hail threat, oh, actually, look at that. It's already considerable for 1.75-inch hail. If we're going to see that, 3, maybe even up to 4-inch hail threat, it's going to have to come from these storms here, moving up to the north-northeast. Because that line, we could have up to some isolated 1.5-inch hail with that line as it moves eastward. It's just off your screen. But we shouldn't see anything, extremely large in terms of hailstones out of this. Yeah, 1-inch hail, 1-inch hail. We have a report for 1-inch hail here as well. So typically lines of damaging winds, those are not going to be able to produce not tornadoes, but hail, because they favor that linear mode. They have a lot of forcing behind them, so that allows them to bow out more. And Connor has a pretty good structure. That's what I'm getting distracted by. Let me go and show you guys that. This is our chaser, Connor Croft. He has a very well-based supercell. I don't know exactly where that is. It kind of looks like he's out here. I think he's out near Atkinson. He is. So he's on this supercell for some large hail out here in Atkinson. Interesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide Sean there. Ta-da! You spam, you get hidden. I don't want to deal with that guy because we've already seen him troll on our other channels, so it's as easy as that. Let me go back up to... Okay, yeah, this storm is beginning to rotate. I was looking at that on another radar site. It has a little indent to it. This is exactly how we saw tornado warning before. So keep an eye on this cell here, embedded inside the line. You can see it above my face cam, I believe. Yeah, above my face cam, out in west central South Dakota, south of Rapid City. I'll bring y'all back over here to show you that. So no rotation on velocity, but just the signature that it's giving here. It's got a little bit of a supercellular shape to it. And that could very easily start to bow out like this. That's exactly how we saw our other tornado warning. If I just show you an example of that. Well, we can't go back far enough, but it started the exact same way. Then it started to bow out like that, wrap around, and then we ended up with that hook echo right here. And that attempted to produce a tornado, but ultimately, from what I've seen, looks like it failed. And we'll see if this can do the exact same thing or not. I do believe it's still Tor possible. It is still Tor possible, so we need to keep an eye out for any embedded circulations along this line here. Let's see. So this is the storm that our chaser Connor Croft is on here in Atkinson. I'll give you another look at that because it is a really good supercell. That might be... Let's see if that's rotating. You got to watch it very closely. I don't see it actually like properly rotating, but that is definitely a solid base right there. Probably some really good inflow on that, so it could very quickly start rotating. And I believe Connor's starting to see that too. I'm going to mute the desktop audio. I'm going to see if he's screaming yet. If he screams, that means that it's really trying to do something. He's quiet. So that might just be a wall cloud right there. It's a little difficult to tell. It's definitely an area of interest for potential spin for sure. We're looking right here. Right here on radar, you can see that above my face cam, which the date is a little bit off there. So it looks like it's trying. This is in more of a elevated environment, so it should have more of a hail threat and slightly less of a tornado threat. But it does seem like it is attempting to rotate. We'll see if that does succeed. It is discrete, so it's definitely in a better environment, but I feel like it's in an elevated environment thanks to that temperature dew point spread. We did get new analysis actually, so let me see if that's a bit better. It's still in very elevated. Your temperature is at 89 with dew points of 71. That's a 18-degree temperature dew point spread. Actually, I don't think that's 18. I can't do math. It's a pretty good temperature dew point spread there. Yeah, that is enough to it's going to be harder for this storm to produce a tornado because of that. Yeah, Connor's starting to look at it now. He's starting to look at that Scud base. He says it's Scud, so he doesn't believe it's rotating at the moment. But definitely want to keep an eye on that for Atkinson, Nebraska there. Let's go back to Minnesota. Yeah, see the cell mergers to the south. It did have that supercell look, and now you can see it looks very clustered, and it's a mess. So that doesn't look like it's tornadic anymore. You can see the velocities also. The outflow is more like this, inflow is more like this. If we go back a couple frames to where this looked better, you could see the outflow and inflow looked more like this, which is promoting more of a tornadic circulation. So that does appear like it's starting to lose its tornadic characteristics there in Wilmar, Minnesota. Back out here in South Dakota, this still doesn't look like it's rotating, but it has a good look to it. Still has that curvature look. So as long as it can keep that, we're going to keep an eye on it. Not a good ZDR arc at all. But we'll definitely want to keep an eye on that. This line very quickly could start rotating like we saw earlier. But yeah, just to go over the SPC risk again, if you're just tuning in, this is your risk for severe weather. The main area we're going to be watching is this orange risk here, that level 3 out of 5 for severe weather. We also have a very large slight risk level 2 out of 5 for severe weather surrounding that. There's over 70 million people under the gun for severe weather today, with that primary threat having, I believe, I'm going to go look at it. There's about 5.5 million people inside that main enhanced risk for severe weather. And storms are just now starting to approach that enhanced risk. We'll see what happens when they hit that instability pocket. That there's like barely any instability there. Instability hole. A new MCD for Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, and into southeastern South Dakota. The severe threat may increase over the next few hours. Severe wind and hail would be possible, and a tornado cannot be ruled out. A watch issuance is possible at 60%. That MCD is going to be right here. So this southern one, this includes Minneapolis down through Worthington, Fairmont, on the edge of Sioux City, back towards O'Neill and Yankton. Sioux Falls also inside of that. So pretty large MCD there. 60% chance we see a new severe watch out there. And I really do think we'll see one. I don't think that MCD will be expired like the last one. Last time, earlier today, we had a 95% chance for a severe watch, and it just didn't get issued. I don't think this will be the case. I think this one will be issued. Let's see. We'll also be live for Wednesday severe weather threat. We'll probably go live tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's threat looks to be kicking off right around this time as well, so we'll plan for a live stream sometime right around 6 o'clock tomorrow to cover that severe threat. Currently looks like Chicago is going to be in the primary risk for severe weather. I haven't looked at the SBC outlook for tomorrow, actually. Let's go ahead and just take a look at that really quick. Yeah, they did bring Chicago in that slight risk. It looks like at the moment we'll see a secondary area of initiation tomorrow, and that will probably promote more thunderstorms in this area, and that will most likely be what we try to cover. We'll, of course, have our MCS that continues overnight, and that could reignite tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon out here. But personally, I think we're going to try to aim to cover this threat in Illinois for tomorrow, right around 6 p.m. Eastern. And then Wednesday. Wednesday looks very interesting. Could be a much more notable tornado threat. It looks like a lot lesser of a damaging wind threat for Wednesday, which will probably promote more of a discrete cell mode. We do actually have more cams. We just got some cams in, and yeah. Let me go ahead and show that, because I haven't looked at this. This is the NAM 3K for Wednesday. And I just want to show you guys this real quick before, anything ridiculous pops off. But look at that. This would definitely be a lot more of a tornado-producing day here for North Dakota, South Dakota. Late Wednesday afternoon into early Wednesday evening, and then storms start to die out Wednesday night. So that would be a much more notable tornado threat day, thanks to the discrete nature of those storms. So we'll be live for that. Since it's a slight risk, we will already plan to do a live stream there for Wednesday night. Thursday, I haven't looked into it much at all. We'll have to wait until we get better data, but Thursday looks meh at the moment. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding it. Wednesday already looks good, and that's 3 days out, so. Let's go back down here. Still considerable severes there. Still a pretty good supercell look to this storm. Just to the south of Rapid City. Not currently rotating a lot there, but might try later down the line. Supercell that Connor Croft is on. Wow. Okay, that's probably something. Let me go back to Connor Croft. Let's see what he has. We'll probably get an ad. There's Connor Croft's live feed, and he does have a really good base. That is definitely trying. I'm waiting for an ad. But yeah, that's gonna try. That is going to try to rotate. And you can see on radar, I mean, look at that. You have a really good supercell look here. Really good supercell look. Like I said, this is in a favorable tornado environment. An environment favorable for tornadoes. I just got an ad. Just got an ad. So this is favorable for a tornado to develop. However, it's more elevated. Meaning that this storm, it's going to take longer for it to produce a tornado, and the cloud tops are going to be more off of the ground, and it will be a little bit more difficult for it to produce that tornado. Yeah, Thursday looks meh. This supercell doesn't look meh. I mean, this looks really good. This is about... If I go to the plains on like a moderate risk day or something, this is all I'd want. Like, me and Lucky's goal is just to see a structure like this once. Preferably more, but shoot, one time. That's all I ask. Because we're used to, this is the type of cells me and Lucky are used to. We chase these things, these little rain showers. So if we manage to get a supercell out here, if we ever go out to the plains, we would, we'd freak out. We'd freak out. It looks pretty good. I'll show you guys that again, since I just got an ad. We shouldn't have one for a whole like 3 minutes or something, but it looks really good. Completely discrete. There's convection on the northwest side, but that shouldn't mess with it much. So completely discrete, really good looking eagle shape to it, and it could try. You can see the inflow tail too. Well, I was going to draw it out, but there's his radar site. You can see where Connor Croft is. He's that blue dot south of Atkinson. Tail cloud. little inflow right in here. You can see that very well, too. That is very, very well defined on the supercell. And then you just have your whole base up here. So it's looking really good. And doesn't look good in Minnesota. That storm looks very much like it's turned into more of a mess. We'll go back over here. So here's a storm in Minnesota. Very much of a just small hail threat, damaging wind threat there. Tornado threat is rapidly decreasing with that. Our other storm we've been watching for a while, it still has a good look to it. It still looks pretty good, and you can see maybe even a hook trying here. Now, the rotation is definitely not present, so I wouldn't be worrying about it at the moment, but we might have a hook trying on this storm out here south of Rapid City. We've been watching this storm pretty much ever since we started the live stream up about 30 minutes ago. Let's go back to Connor Croft and that storm in Nebraska. North central Nebraska. Explain how you identify inflow. Well, this is a very easy case. So if I bring you to radar, you can clearly see this gap in the reflectivity here, and you can see a hook trying to form. So that's right off the bat, that is already a sign of solid inflow. So you can clearly see winds are going to be going into the storm like this, helping it to rotate. And all we got to do is switch over to Connor Croft's live view, and you can tell right in here, that's where your inflow is, because your wall cloud, here's your wall cloud. So your inflow will be right in there, which it's not as good anymore, but it's still there. You still have inflow, and you still have that base of a wall cloud. I'm listening to Connor real quick. Connor's thinking about just going right into the hail core. Now, there is a lot of other scenarios, too. This is one of the easier cases to identify inflow. If you have something more messy like this, it's way more difficult to spot inflow. And in real life, it would be impossible because it's so rain-wrapped here in Minnesota. Hold on, let me switch out. Look at this. No, go back, Connor. Go back. Please, just, yeah, right there. Look at that. Beautiful supercell structure right there. And you can still see that wall cloud towards the right side. It's definitely not rotating like rapidly. It has inflow barely rotating, so it's not an imminent tornado by any means. Just some very marginal rotation. It doesn't look good on velocity either, so it's probably not even torque possible yet. Yeah, nope. Nope, one for 1.75 inch hail and around 50 mile an hour winds. So it's not capable of producing a tornado at the moment. It just has some very minor rotation and a really cool look to it in real life and on radar. This storm's still trying in South Dakota. You could see it's got that hook now in South Dakota. Pretty good supercell structure there embedded inside our line. We'll see. Hold on, what did Connor just say? Yeah, there's your massive tail cloud. Hold on. Connor just looked at the right side of the supercell, and that's where you look for your tail cloud and inflow. So there's your wall cloud right down here. It looks a whole lot less defined. It barely even looks like a wall cloud now. And then you have this area of inflow, and then look at this very large tail cloud right there. And he does go a little bit more to the right, but you can see that big tail cloud, mid-level rotation. So this is a really good supercell. It's very organized, and he's talking about it rotating in the mid-levels and just a bit closer to the surface there. Just trying to see if we could see anything really moving there. Really good supercell. Oh, he got fire department on him now. Fire department's talking to him. Connor just said, doesn't seem like it's going to produce a tornado, which I completely agree. Not the best look for a surface-based storm there. If it were to be surface-based, it looks more elevated. So it's got more mid-level, upper-level rotation. It's got a lot of hail, some damaging winds, but not a lot of that lower-level to near-surface rotation to it. So it doesn't seem like a tornado producer at the moment. Here comes a tornado warning. Here comes a tornado warning. Let's see what it's for. I'm betting South Dakota. Here comes your beep. I get it earlier before the beep even comes through. Waiting.
Tornado warning for
South Dakota.
Northeastern Custer County in southwestern South Dakota, Custer County in South Dakota.
Yep, the storm that we've been talking about for oh so long is now tornado warned. There you go. Not shocked about that at all. Still doesn't have the best couplet on velocity, but there you go. There's your tornado warning. There is your tornado warning. So that is capable of producing a tornado. Very small tornado warning. Very, very tiny tornado warning there. This is in South Dakota. So we finally have our first tornado warning of the stream. We started the live stream with our with one tornado warning expiring. Right as we started, it expired. So there's your newest tornado warning. Doesn't look the most impressive on velocity. Really difficult to pick out exactly what might be rotating here. Yeah, it might be this little area right here for rotation. That tiny little area on velocity. So very, very weak. Not really anything interesting on velocity. But you have a very good look on reflectivity, which was enough for the National Weather Service to warn this. Because it does have that embedded supercellular structure to it. It's got a good inflow right in here. And just not a whole lot of velocity action, though. I just switched to velocity more zoomed out. Look at this. You can see a lot more little inflows here with some spin up action. Now, it doesn't look like we're actually seeing spin up tornadoes, but those are the velocity signatures you see with like QLCS tornadoes, very quick spin up tornadoes. For instance, like the derecho in Chicago earlier last month. We saw those tiny little spin ups along the line with these small velocity couplets. So we'll also keep an eye on that. See if any of those can strengthen enough to potentially be rotating enough to produce a tornado out there in and south of Rapid City, South Dakota. Not looking forward to tomorrow. I'm guessing you're in the risk for severe weather out there. Tomorrow doesn't look interesting anywhere but Chicago, to be honest with you. Chicago's like the main area I'm watching for tomorrow. Really, Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois. That's the main area I'm keeping an eye on for tomorrow. Go back over here. I'm looking at the other severe weather threats here. Seeing if I'm going to get anything. Yeah, but not a whole lot of rotation there. Just a good reflectivity look to that storm. We'll come back to that now and then. It is now tornado warned, so make sure you are seeking shelter. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and share the stream. Those are the two most important things so we can reach as many people as possible with the word of these severe storms here. And yeah, hopefully this threat underperforms. I mean, we have our solid line. It has started to form. Still continuing. It's going into that enhanced risk for severe weather. Look at that. Look at that. We actually had a funnel report out here in Minnesota. So remember earlier, I was talking about that good supercell structure look to this storm, and we actually had a funnel cloud reported with it. So it indeed was rotating. So we called that storm out too. And this, I believe, got an extension. I want to see 1.5 inch hail, 50 mile an hour winds. So this storm doesn't look the healthiest anymore. It's starting to lose its main hail core. Still has a good eagle split. Still has a good inflow. So, it could try later down the line, but it's not looking as healthy as what it looked like 10, 15 minutes ago. It looks like it's starting to die out, but maybe it will continue to strengthen. You never know. This is going to go right through the Twin Cities, and I believe it's going to maintain quite the strong to severe storm criteria here. So if you are in the Twin Cities and Minneapolis, Minnesota, just keep an eye on this storm as it heads your way. I think it will be in Minneapolis about 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to go look at the time for this storm here. Yeah, right around 8, 9 p.m. Eastern. Most likely 8. So in about 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours, we should have a storm going through Minneapolis. And it looks like it will most likely maintain intensity there. The tornado threat will be pretty low with that storm. I do want to quickly check the environment, though, just to see if, maybe it could do something. Yeah, it's not that favorable for tornadoes up there. Our most favorable environment for tornadoes is with this supercell here. However, it still is elevated. The newest update has an 89/71, and we're going to get a new update here in like 9 minutes. So we'll see what that shows. But anything typically... your sweet spot for tornadoes is between 5 to 10 of a degree temperature dew point spread. We're at about a 17, 18 degree temperature dew point spread out here. So that's going to allow for this storm to become more elevated, more of a hail producer, and a lot less of that tornadic risk. Let's see. Michigan. Well, you're definitely going to be, if you're in Michigan, you're going to be in more of that damaging wind threat for sure. I still don't see much up there. I really don't think we'll see a whole lot in Michigan. It looks very isolated. It doesn't look the best for severe weather, in my opinion. Let me go ahead and go all the way over to Tuesday. You could still see some isolated damaging wind gust out there. I think that's about it, really. Yeah, you're not in the tornado risk. You also are in a hail risk, so up to an 1.5 to 2 inch in diameter hail, as well as up to 70 mile an hour winds there. But I really don't see that threat. I know the risk is there. The SPC has that slight risk in place. But I really think you're not going to see a whole lot out there. Unless models can, uptrend ridiculously, which, it's happened before. It has happened before. Chicago, you need to watch out for some strong to severe storms tomorrow. We'll be live covering that. Storms will roll through probably in Chicago around 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll be live before that happens, hopefully, fingers crossed. Main threat is the potential for 70 mile an hour winds, as well as up to an 1.5 to 2 inch hail. So that will be a very late afternoon, early evening threat for severe weather out there in Chicago tomorrow. Then after that, I don't believe we're going to see anything else in Chicago. Yeah, what is that, Thursday? No, Wednesday. Wednesday, you're still in a risk for a wind gust upwards of 60, but it's a very low threat. And then Thursday, there's nothing for Chicago at the moment. I do want to see, where will Thursday's threat be? If that trough on Wednesday continues into Thursday, the severe threat will be in mainly Minnesota. Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa. Pretty much the same area we're covering today. We're going to do all of this all over again Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday might be a severe weather day for Chicago. We'll continue to monitor that, but it's going to change. It's difficult to predict these summertime thunderstorms more than a day in advance. So we don't want to go looking like 4 or 5 days out, because that stuff's going to change a lot. Pretty big hail core forming with this storm. I do believe that's going to decrease the overall tornado risk with this cell. It looks like it's becoming more of a small hail threat, damaging wind threat, and it looks like it's losing that inflow. It doesn't look nearly as good as what it did when it was first warned. Apparently it was first warned 5 minutes ago, but I'm pretty sure it was like 15 minutes ago or something. There's no way that was warned 5 minutes ago, right? I swear it's been longer. 10. It was warned 10 minutes ago. Connor Croft, our chaser, is currently intercepting that cell in Nebraska. He's got a very, very small hail. Very small hail. And that's it. Some gusty winds, very small hail in this storm here. Let's go back to Nebraska. So this is the storm our chaser Connor Croft's intercepting right now. I'll switch back to his feed. We'll probably get an ad. But it's just very small hail. He's in the main hail core now. So if he's going to get, 1.5 inch hail, it's going to be right now. But it looks like it's about half inch hail. Right around half inch hail is what he's finding in here. I don't know what he's going to do now. I mean, personally, I think you should just stick to that storm. Even though it's probably going to die out within the next 2 hours. Yeah, it's probably going to die out around 2 hours from now. I mean, if he goes west, he's going to be in this big wind bag, which by the time he gets there, it's going to be dark. So I don't think you should really be, I don't think he'd want to go all the way over to the main line of damaging winds. Emily, it depends on which one. I use 2 different color tables. So for, that hail core got bigger. So for this color table on Radar Omega, it's the black and blue is your hail core mainly. That's where your main hail core is. And on GR2 analysis, it's the mainly the black, and then you'll also see some white in there if the hail core is really big. I have 2 different color tables. Why? Because this one is better for analysis, and this one is better for just overall presentation and looks. Big severe storm there. So that's now warned for 1 inch hail, 60 mile an hour winds, and still a TOR possible tag out here in South Dakota. So that is a downgrade. It was a significant severe. You can see it was warned for 70. This one was warned for 70, but they downgraded that. And this one's been downgraded too. So hopefully this threat continues to decrease. But we should have plenty of activity to track all the way till at least 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. At minimum. So we're definitely not going anywhere. We're staying live for at least the next 2 hours and 15 minutes. So, yeah, hopefully you'll stick with me throughout this coverage. We'll see what happens. I mean, nothing looks overly concerning at the moment for tornadoes. We do have that tornado warning, but it doesn't look... there's barely any rotation with it. You can see we just have green. That's inflow. That's just some damaging winds. And, yeah, look at that. It's more of a line now. It no longer has that nice curvature look to it. No longer has that hook echo. So that's more of your damaging windbag now. I really want to know what Connor's going to do here. So the storm Connor crofts on, it should continue for the next hour or two. All the way up until about 8:30 p.m. is when it should start dying off. We'll see if it happens sooner, but the environment should keep it going until about 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll see if it holds that long or not. The whole reason this storm fired is because of this ridiculously obvious boundary here moved from north to south, and that acted as an initiation for this storm to fire off of. And that's exactly what it did. So this storm fired off the right edge of this big boundary. We saw some other storms fire off this boundary in southern South Dakota into Nebraska, but they just died off. So that's the only storm that actually stuck and managed to maintain itself after that outflow boundary left. I'm still keeping an eye on this for a potential tornado threat later down the line. There's this edge of the cell here. It might try to rotate later down the line. But this is a very big storm. Very, very big storm here. Thanks to the cell merge that we had about 40 minutes ago or so. But I would still be watching that southern edge. So if you're out in like Olivia, Bird Island, Hector, Hutchinson, this is in Minnesota, by the way. Just note that there could be a spin-up tornado with this storm. So just make sure your safe spot's ready to go just in case. Connor is actually getting some golf ball sized hail now. See the hail? You can clearly see it now. So that's about 1.5 to 1.75 inch hail most likely that Connor is being hit by. It almost, it was really loud on his windshield. Aha! I got an ad right when I switched it. I love when that happens. Normally it's right when I switch to it, we get an ad. Look at that. Very large hail. Dude, it just might crack his windshield. So the biggest hail in this storm in Nebraska, you can see it above my face cam. That's the radar site. It's right near the hook echo. That's Connor Croft right there. He switched his camera on accident. Yeah, this seems like it's a strengthening storm in terms of hail. Could that storm produce later down the line near the Twin Cities? I wouldn't fully rule it out. It's not in the best environment, but it is a good-looking storm. It has a pretty good structure to it, so I wouldn't be too surprised. By the way, in terms of tropics, real quick to update you all on tropics, just going to say it. Not show it, but we're still looking at a lot of tropical systems trying to form towards early September, somewhere between September 2nd all the way to September 10th. It still looks like we're going to see a couple systems move off of Africa and try to form into a tropical storm. I believe he just cracked his windshield. There you go. So there's some really large hail falling now. That's probably getting closer to between probably just under tennis ball sized hail there. They did upgrade it back to golf ball sized hail, but I wouldn't be shocked if this is getting closer to 2.5 inch hail now. Oh, it just cracked his windshield again. I'm gonna let y'all hear him screaming.
We're losing it.
Now he's quiet.
There it goes again. Down there too.
He's losing his windshield.
Windshield down.
Well, that's gonna be some money. Gracious, yeah, he's getting pounded with hail. We are no longer at a tornado warning, so that is good news. I'm not too surprised there. So yeah, I mean that area of rotation, just that thing left fast. That whole line just died on the northern edge. Look at that. All those 1, 2, 3, 4 areas rotation we were watching. I'll switch all back here. The 4 areas rotation we were watching south of Rapid City, they all died out and everything went linear. So this is a very low wind threat, very small hail threat. We still can't fully rule out a brief tornado, especially on that northern side and the southern side. Watch it happen in the middle. But it's looking less likely at this exact moment. Yeah, this storm in Minnesota is really looking good here. On the southern side. But we're getting more cell mergers. We are getting more cell mergers. So that's going to continue to probably inhibit this from actually trying to produce a tornado. When is our 90-mile-per-hour wind threat? So the main peak damaging wind threat should be about 8, maybe even 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight. But I mean, it could be it could be at any moment. I mean, we have this whole, we just entered the enhanced risk, so we're just now starting on that peak damaging wind threat where we could see 80 to 90 mile an hour winds. It looks like the, at least for what I've seen on the models, right around here has the best shot of seeing 80 to 90 mile an hour winds tonight between sometime after 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. So we're still a good 2.5, probably 3 hours out. And we just got a new severe thunderstorm watch. Yep, there's your new severe watch. So Minneapolis, you just got inside a severe thunderstorm watch. It's not all that common. We get a severe watch for literally one storm. So they have quite a good amount of confidence here. 70% chance. So that is a high risk for the potential of 58 mile per hour winds. Now, that's not actually a high risk categorical wise, but with watch probabilities, it is a high risk. Very confusing. Yeah. So we have an enhanced risk for severe weather, but inside that enhanced risk, we now have a high probability watch to see damaging winds, 10 instances of damaging winds greater than 58 miles per hour. Also, 80 mile per hour winds will be possible with this storm, and up to around 2.5 inch hail. Brookings where? I imagine Brookings, Minnesota or South Dakota. Brookings, South Dakota. Yeah, I mean, you should be hit. I hope you won't be hit, but you should be hit very, very late tonight. If not, storms will go barely off to your south. Jeez, you're looking really late tonight. I don't think we'll be up covering this all the way till when you get hit around 1 a.m. Central. About 1 a.m. Central, you should be hit. Models have you getting hit right around 1 a.m. Central. And it could have winds up to 90. I hope not, but it could be. The newest model run actually does have 90 mile an hour winds, 80 to 90 just to your south. So it actually takes it through this area, like Sioux Falls at 1 a.m. Central. So somebody's going to be hit over here. We have this line that's going to continue to strengthen over the entirety of the night, and it's going to be moving generally in this direction here, like this. It's just a matter of if that northern side strengthens, the southern side strengthens, if one side weakens, or what happens with it over time. Which, that's your enhanced risk. So, I was saying, I think I circled generally this area here. Yeah. So, pretty much over most of your enhanced risk for severe weather. Newer models keep shifting this more and more south. Like, now they're shifting towards this area being the main threat. Whereas before, I mean, we started like up here, then we went more south, and at one point, actually, the HRRR had the main line on the edge of that enhanced and slight risk. The newest one, yeah, the newest one has this region right here. Even outside of the enhanced risk for severe weather being the main threat tonight. So our main threat for 80, 90 mile per hour winds may actually be very late to the point where we may not be able to cover it. That is why I waited though, because if I started the live stream at 3 o'clock, I probably wouldn't have been able to make it past 6, 7 o'clock. So that's why I waited to start the stream till a little later. Which I probably could have waited another couple hours, but we'll see how this plays out. I mean, we're in that enhanced risk for severe weather. And they now warned this for 2-inch hail out for O'Neill. So that went from 1-inch hail possible to 2-inch hail possible in the matter of like 10 minutes. And Connor just happened to be driving right through it as it strengthened. Yeah, so you can see this is what we started at right here. That's when Connor started driving through it. And then it strengthened quite quickly. I mean, we even got to DBZ up to 70, which is pretty high up there. 71. Which we do have a radar product that can simulate what the largest hailstone may be inside a storm. And that currently says we may be seeing hail up to 2.5 inch in diameter. Yeah, look at that. We actually just got a new scan, and it has DBZ at 73.5. No, I'm definitely not splitting it up into 2 streams unless my power goes out or something. Then we'll get back on here. But no, we're going to stay through this. We're at 53 likes. It'd be great if we could try to get to 100 by the end of the stream. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, share the stream. It's greatly appreciated. Let's see. I'm really, really curious to see what happens with this storm in the middle of that Cape Hole. I wonder if we'll be able to see it tonight. Look at this. Let me show you this. So this is our newest meso analysis, which is pretty much current observations. And you could see this ridiculously large batch of uncapped, absurd instability up to 8,000 Cape. Typically, you look for 1,000 instability to get storms going. And even when you're in the winter, sometimes it takes as little as 500 instability to get a severe storm going. We have 8,000 over northwestern Iowa. Which is why I think this area here is going to have the best shot at seeing damaging winds. That's where your line is currently. And we have this big Cape hole. We have a big Cape hole right here. A big Cape hole right in here. And I don't know if that's going to allow for these storms to weaken rapidly or if they're going to try to sustain. So I'm very questioning that area. But we should see our 80, 90 mile per hour threat somewhere out here. Right along that axis. I don't know exactly how far north this instability or how far south this instability may pull. It just depends. I can't say you will get hit, but you do have a risk of being hit later tonight, right around 1 a.m. and in Brookings, South Dakota. I'm pretty sure that's the area I looked at, right? Right around 1 a.m. Central. Yeah. You'll have a chance to get hit right around 1 a.m. tonight. So this severe watch is in effect for 5 hours and 37 minutes. We'll see a new watch issued in probably 2.5, 3 hours from now as these storms enter this area. They'll most likely issue a new watch for this general region right here. We'll probably see a pretty big watch issued. But it's going to be a while before we see that. So pretty low and severe here. The only interesting thing with this severe storm is the fact that they have a Tor possible tag on it, which means that there is an area they're monitoring for the potential of a tornado to spin up. Hence the tornado possible tag, but I don't see anything notable at the moment. That might be a little bit old, so we'll see if they remove that when they update this polygon, if they even do later on tonight, within the next 35 minutes. All right, let's go back over to this cell here. Yeah, look at that big hail core right here. That is a really good hail core southwest of Emmett, if that's how you say that, to the southwest of O'Neill here in Nebraska. It is starting to die out, though, so that's good news for Connor. Good news for his already broken windshield. Like I said, I suppose he's just going to stay with this storm, because I don't really think he'd want to leave this storm here. If he leaves this cell, then there's a pretty good chance he's going to have to book it. And I mean book it west before dark. So best bet is just to stay with this storm, because if he goes more west, he won't see another cell till it's dark out. Let's see here. Okay. So I'll show you guys Connor Croft's feed when he gets another good view of this cell. We should get another severe thunderstorm warning on this very soon. It's now warned for 2.5-inch hail, so this is a very close to a PDS severe. A PDS severe thunderstorm warning is a storm that has a hail of 2.75-inch or greater, and or could be both 80-mile-per-hour winds or greater. So we either need to have 2.75-inch hail or 80-mile-per-hour winds, or both. And it, of course, could be greater than that, and we'll see a PDS severe, which is commonly known as a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. So Connor's heading out here to O'Neill. If you're in O'Neill, I highly recommend, you still have a little bit of time, so if you can, Nightbot was not working for a minute, was it there, Caleb? I saw that. So if you can, get your truck or your car under a car shed or something really quick, tarp over your car, whatever you can to protect it. You don't have nearly as much time now. Don't stay out more than like a minute. One more minute, literally. Because you don't have a lot of time before this storm could potentially produce 2.5-inch hail right over O'Neill, Nebraska. This storm's moving to the east-northeast. This one right here will be moving like this. And that's a tornado warning. I'll be dead real with you. The only area I think this may be is Minnesota. If it's somewhere else, I'm going to be surprised.
Tornado warning for west central Oglala Lakota County in southwestern South Dakota.
I'm surprised. I am surprised. I did not think we would see one on that storm. It didn't have a good Supercell look to it, but they did pull the trigger. I am very shocked on that. How's this storm Minnesota looking? Yikes. Lot of lightning activity right there. Gracious day, look at all that. Very, very active thunderstorm right there. That is a lot of thunder and lightning, my word. I would hate to be out here in, let's see, what's like Bird Island or to the north. This is in Minnesota. That's a lot of lightning. But they did, for some, or obviously, because it's tornadic, they did pull a tornado warning on that. I really don't know why. In terms of a radar standpoint, it doesn't look impressive at all. This is not a storm that you'd normally see warned. Maybe they have a report. Maybe they have a report or a chaser on this who is seeing something and reported, I don't know, a funnel or rapidly rotating wall cloud, something. Actually, I do know a chaser who I'm friends with out here. Can't use his feed, but I do know him really well. So I wonder if he is on this tornado warning. I may know even two of them. See if I can find these chasers. But that's not a storm that I really thought was going to get warned. I'm pretty surprised by that. Yeah. Somebody I know is actually on that tornado warning. He's very, very close to it. What about this guy? This guy's always a tornado finder. Oh, he's on the storm in Minnesota. Wow. So we got chasers all over the place. This guy's also really good at finding tornadoes. He is in Nebraska. So we have chasers from this cell in South Dakota to storms in Nebraska to storms in Minnesota. I'm going to keep this guy who's in South Dakota, tornado warning storm, up. See if he sees anything. And if he does, I will not show his feed because I haven't asked and don't have permission to. But I will tell you guys what I see. We did just get a new mesoscale discussion, and I am actually very surprised by this, because it's not what I was expecting. Wait, maybe this... Okay, never mind. We're good. I thought it was a different mesoscale discussion. Threat for severe gust, hail, and possibly a tornado will spread eastward through the late afternoon. A storm cluster is becoming increasingly well organized this afternoon from Black Hills vicinity to the Nebraska-South Dakota border, immediately in advance of the seasonably strong shortwave trough moving across northern Wyoming into southern Montana? Okay, yep, southern Montana. Thought I was reading wrong. While the storm mode becomes primarily linear, instability of 500 to 1,500 will support the potential for embedded supercell structures. This developing QLCS will continue to push eastward and be accompanied with wind gusts greater than 75 miles per hour as it continues to grow upscale. Possibly locally, hail upwards of 2-inch in diameter, and even a tornado will be possible with embedded supercells, especially along the far southern extent of this QLCS, where the instability will be stronger near a stationary surface boundary across the South Dakota-Nebraska border. So there you go. They're expecting the storm to keep strengthening as it progresses up to the northeast, and a tornado threat should be present on the far southern edge, which we currently have a tornado warning there. I didn't even see these reports. Look at that. We got a report of 2.5-inch hail out here, right where Connor was. Man, no wonder why Connor broke his windshield. Run, Connor, you better run quicker. He's in O'Neill. That's exactly where this hail core is heading. You can't really run too quick on a dirt road. It's going just like this, right into O'Neill. I mean, he's probably going like 20, maybe 30 in this dirt road, and this storm's moving at what, like 50? Actually haven't looked, to be real with you. 35. 35. I just said 50 because typically 40 to 50 is how fast storms move. No, Tennessee's good. Tennessee is perfectly fine. You guys are over a high-pressure ridge, which should allow for very minimal thunderstorms over the next few days. Maybe extreme, and I mean extreme, northeastern Tennessee might have a risk for a strong wind gust up to 50, 60 sometime. What is this? So today's Monday, Tuesday. So Wednesday into Thursday, extreme northeastern, eastern Tennessee might have a risk for some damaging winds out there. I did see someone say something else, too. Let's see. Michigan? Yeah, I thought I saw someone say another town name here. Your threat will be tomorrow. Tomorrow will be your main threat for severe weather. I don't see it being that large or that high end of a severe threat, but if it is, personally, I don't see it. But if for some reason that storm does survive, your main threat's going to be tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. 60 to 70 mile an hour winds will be the primary threat. But again, honestly, I really don't see that happening. We did get a mesoscale discussion for Kansas and Nebraska. So if you're in this yellow area here, right in here from around the Dunning, Broken Bow area all the way down to Atwood in northwestern Kansas, there's a 40% chance we see a severe thunderstorm watch for the potential of 1.5-inch hail and 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. So we'll keep watching that. 40% chance we see that watch issued. I don't think we'll see it. It looks too sloppy down there. I don't think we'll see it, but we may. Never know. Oh, good. We just got an ad on Connor's feed, so I'll be able to show you guys that now. I want to see this really fast. Okay. Let me see if, okay, it's not worth showing Connor's feed yet. If he gets something better, I will. This storm in Minnesota still looks okay. It's really meh. It's getting too much convection on the southern side. We keep seeing storms firing south, moving into the storm like this. And it continues to deteriorate this storm's chance for a tornado. We probably would have seen a tornado out of this storm already if we didn't see so many cell merges. I mean, look at this. So when it first started to look like a supercell, right here, we had storms merge to the south, more storms on the south side, more storms, more storms. We've had probably 5, 6 different cell mergers on this one storm in Minnesota, and so that's why it's not able to produce a tornado. Storm in South Dakota, it looks like it's trying its hardest here. But it doesn't seem to be doing all that well. It might be trying its hardest, but it doesn't seem like it's doing too well. It does have a little bit better of a hook, a bit better of an inflow notch here, so it does have a better supercell characteristic now. But we'll see. Still pretty surprised they warned that, because I've seen them not warn an area of strong rotation before, and then they warned this area that barely looks like it's rotating. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go back over here. We'll see. We'll see if they continue this severe. I'm curious to see if they do, because half of it's already outside of the severe warning, so we'll see. Who knows, maybe the storm weakened so much to the point where they just decided, yeah, we're just not going to severe warn this again. Which, honestly, I agree. If they don't severe warn this, I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked at all. Maybe they'll put a low and severe. Have they done a special weather statement? No. There's your severe. It just took them a little while. It's hard to tell if this storm looks healthy, but to me it looks like it's really becoming less and less healthy. But they just put a new severe, which is still borderline PDS. PDS severe for hail is 2.75-inch hail, baseball-sized hail, or greater. This is at tennis ball size hail, which is 2.5-inch hail. So we are barely beneath a PDS severe here. Also waiting to see if they'll put out an MCD, which is a mesoscale discussion, on potentially issuing a new watch out here. Oh, you know what? They already did. I remember now. Hold on, let me show you. They already did an MCD. Yeah, this one. We'll see if they issue that watch. It's a 60% chance, and I wouldn't be shocked if they do. I think it has a good chance. Wow, okay. Not even gonna lie, I did not expect to see a severe down here. I thought these storms were gonna stay very disorganized. We have a really low-end severe storm now in place for McCook out here in south central Nebraska for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Whoa. Oh, whoa. Okay. That has become very serious very fast. We now have a pretty good area of rotation here with a solid hook. Really solid hook echo is now formed. So this could very easily produce a tornado now. Wow. Literally went from nothing to a full hook and an area rotation in one scan. That could very quickly produce a tornado. So a little bit of a slanted supercell, but we'll still draw it out the same. So here's your hook echo, base of your supercell here. Your forward flank downdraft would be in this area with your RFD wrapping around the base of the supercell like this. Your inflow would also wrap right around the base of the storm, just like so. You have your hail core trying to spin up in this area as well. So it is a classic supercell, just a little bit more slanted. Just a little bit more slanted here. Like if you take this whole drawing I just did and put it a little bit more angle it northeast towards the top right of the screen, that would be a completely classic supercell. So this is more of a north to south orientated supercell. Yeah, the tornado threat doesn't look high at all, Caden, but it's definitely present. It is definitely present. I don't think they'll pull an enhanced risk tomorrow for Northern Illinois. But if they did pull an enhanced tomorrow, I personally believe it would be for Illinois. Like, I think the one area where we could see an enhanced tomorrow would be Northern Illinois, maybe even into Wisconsin, Indiana, and as well as Iowa. This general area, give you a good circle. This area here, if we see an enhanced risk, I think it will be somewhere in here. You know what? That could even include Caleb, which I believe Caleb's in like a marginal right now. Yeah, Caleb, you're in a marginal, but tomorrow is currently uptrending quite a lot. We'll see if it keeps on uptrending. If it keeps on uptrending, we might just see that enhanced risk trigger. Or we'll see if it downtrends. Sorry, the NAM is still showing a backwards MCS. Tomorrow might be one of the most historically weird moving MCSs we've ever seen in history. If we actually get that, the NAM has showed this for almost a full 24 hours now. It's still there. It's still there. If that actually happens where we have a west moving MCS, that would be ridiculous. I don't personally think that will happen, but you never know. We did see a 72-mile-an-hour wind gust report here from a mesonet southwest of our tornado warning for 72-mile-an-hour winds. I don't think it will happen either, but it's 2024. We've seen a bunch of ridiculous things, so I wouldn't put it in the trash can. You never know. Have an MCS that moves from Michigan to Illinois, from northeast to west southwest. That still has a good hook, still a pretty good area of rotation there. So we'll keep watching that. I'm going to go to my analysis radar here. This is in South Dakota. Now, this CC is all clear air, so you ignore that. That is bad radar data. Just literally cross that out. So we'll just keep watching that area right here where my cursor is. Well, if they do pull an enhanced risk, like I said, I think the most likely area would be the region I circled just a little while ago, but I don't think we'll see a backwards moving MCS. But I do think we could see a messy cluster of thunderstorms to develop very close to, if not over, Chicago, and it could potentially be significant for winds and hail. But we do want to wait more. You know, we'll see what it looks like tomorrow morning. Because we'll still have a bunch of instability. I mean, we'll have like almost 4,000, 3,000 to 4,000 instability over northern Illinois. And if it becomes uncapped tomorrow evening, storms are gonna fire in that. This is South Dakota, yes. I try to say the state often, but I do forget. This is our only tornado warning, and it is indeed in South Dakota. That area of rotation did die out, and the hook kind of pushed more south. It still has a hook look to it, but it's weird. It has like I don't know. I don't know what type of shape that is. It's a mix of a bow echo and a hook echo. Yeah, because you kind of have a hook here, and then it's also like part of a bow echo too. That's weird. But that rotation did die out, so they'll probably let this tornado warning expire here at the top of the hour in 14 minutes. If not, maybe they'll even cancel that. Let me go see what Connor said about that new storm in front. We did get a new severe in Plainview, northeastern Nebraska. That might warrant them to issue the severe thunderstorm watch. We'll see. We shall see. But I think Connor's going to move for that storm now in Plainview, northeastern Nebraska. Hello, Lakeisha. Thanks for tuning in. I don't think Michigan will see an enhanced risk. I really don't see a lot happening in Michigan. But you never know. Things change very quickly in the weather world. Very quickly. Yesterday, when we were looking at this risk, it looked really good. This morning, it looked like nothing was going to happen. And now we're seeing it play out pretty well. We're just now starting, and I think it's playing out pretty well for where we are at this point in the event. So we'll see. Let's see here. It did, Caleb. It's because I tried a new thumbnail style. I don't know if I want to stick with that, though. I switched up a few things on the thumbnail. Also did a 20-minute in-depth dive into it as well. I didn't do my normal, 10, if not less, minute video and rush through it all. I went through every single model run, took my time through it, and gave my thoughts on everything. Still have that tornado warning. Still radar indicated, which means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. I don't see anything that makes me think this is a tornado ongoing. It looks very messy. We'll just see if this storm can continue to try and form or not. Strengthen. I should say strengthen. Should continue to try and strengthen. It's not that late. I'm already confusing words up over here. Could Northern Illinois go enhanced for 30 sig or non-sig? Personally, I think it would be non-sig for wind if they go enhanced. A non-sig 30% wind. But yeah, it's impossible for me to tell you if it's gonna go enhanced or slight. Nobody can know that. It's just gonna depend on what the SPC thinks tomorrow. I'd be very shocked if they pull it tonight, because I think we're gonna have to see what the this storm does. See if this lasts through all of Wisconsin and all of Illinois, or if it dies out before. Because depending on what will happen with this. See, I'm going backwards, y'all. I'm going backwards with sentences. There's that new severe watch. But depending on if this storm lasts all the way until Wisconsin and Michigan, it may or may not use up all that instability here. And if it uses up all that instability, then, well, we won't see storms fire off because it will use up all that instability. And in return, storms will literally not be able to survive or fire. Wednesday go enhanced? I don't see anything really on Wednesday. Let me see. Yeah, definitely not. I don't see anything on Wednesday. Wednesday looks very bleh. It does not look like a good severe threat at the moment. You also have minimal forcing too, so I don't think so. But we'll see as we get closer. Who knows, maybe things will uptrend. I don't think we'll see an enhanced risk. I haven't heard anyone talk about an enhanced risk on Wednesday, for the Northeast at least. Let's see. About Indianapolis, I don't really see much happening out there over the next few days. I think you'll be fine. You're not in any slight risks or greater, so if you're going to see any severe weather, it would be very isolated and probably not that strong. Tomorrow, as well as Wednesday, you have a risk for up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. But you'd have to be pretty unfortunate to get under that. So there's that new severe watch. Let me go ahead and just show you guys that. So that includes just north of Norfolk, includes Sioux City, Worthington. That watch is for, wow, 75-mile-per-hour winds possible, 3-inch hail possible, and a tornado or 2 possible. So that's actually pretty good word in there. I'm not surprised they issued that new watch at all. I thought they would, considering this storm was moving out of this watch area and we had a new storm firing in a non-watched zone as well. An area without a severe watch. They haven't issued this watch in McCook yet. It may just be too isolated. If we only get like 1 or 2 severe storms, typically we don't see severe watches, which is why I was quite surprised when we saw this watch. It does seem like that is strengthened though. We have a whole line of severes now out here. 3 severe storms for this one line that has started up here. And that's going to head into Minneapolis in about an hour and a half or so. Del Rapids, South Dakota. Your threat's definitely late, for sure. Your threat is really, really late. And let me go ahead and see. We are getting some new model runs. But, yeah, your main threat will be right around 1 a.m. And you could have gusts between 80 to 90 mile-per-hour winds will be possible. And it will be overnight, too. Now, that's what the risk is for. Hopefully, that doesn't play out. I can't go into the future and tell you that we won't see that, and I can't go in the future and tell you that we will see that. Oops, not that. Does it depend on these storms if we get an enhanced? If you're talking about in Illinois tomorrow, yeah, it really does. These storms back here, because it depends on how much these storms will take up the environment out here tomorrow morning. So if we get this line and it continues to stay as a severe line all the way through this whole area, and it tampers with the environment in this area, then storms will have a lot less, if not near zero, instability to work with, and they won't be able to fire tomorrow evening, tomorrow early, tomorrow night. Late afternoon, early evening. My goodness. Right in this area, we could see storms fire tomorrow between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern. Right where I have that circled X. NAM does not fire off much in Nebraska on day 3. It's not a trustable. I think you mean trustworthy is the word I'd use there, model. But it's all we have at the moment. You should look at the NAM 3K, Kevin, because that fires off a line, pretty much a line of supercells. You said Thursday? Wait, did you say Thursday? Oh, no, you said day 3. What, did I not get enough sleep or something? Yeah. The normal NAM model just fires. It's all like rain showers. It's not good whatsoever. It's just, yeah, not much would happen with that scenario. Now, the NAM 3K paints a completely different picture. Still at a tornado warning, believe it or not. That should expire in 4 more minutes here. Let's see. Yeah, they still have that out. It expires in 4 minutes unless they cancel it. So we'll stay on that tornado warning scene until it is expired or they cancel that tornado warning for South Dakota. Storms in Nebraska starting to see more storms out here. We of course have our original supercell. Then we have a clustered mess of cells that are going up in Plainview in northeastern Nebraska. I don't think we have a better radar site on that. Yeah, that's in a radar hole, so that's not fun. So we won't be able to see that storm too well. We do have Connor Croft with us, and he's going to this clustered storm towards Randolph in northeastern Nebraska. I'm good. I don't drink coffee, and I'm not tired enough for caffeine. I don't drink a lot of caffeine at all. I try to stay away from that. Let's see here. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor these storms. Connor just lost signal. We're about halfway through the stream. It depends on how long we go. But we typically, for enhanced risks, we do at least 3 hours. Unless the event busts or underperforms a lot. Let's see. Won't answer what? I answered your question. Your question above Weather Tracker's comment. I answered that already. So this is a Tor possible severe with 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. They're still keeping that. It looks like they're not going to issue the one more north. So probably this is going to be our area for severe weather now over the next hour. We were seeing bigger polygons. As you can see here, we had a bigger polygon for the whole line. So it seems like that northern side of the line has weakened enough to the point where they're not going to continue that severe warning. Unless they issue it in 2 separate warnings, which would be interesting. That would be interesting. The only point in issuing it into 2 different severe warnings would be is if you do like if they were to do like a 60 mile per hour severe here and then a 70 mile per hour severe here. Connor Croft, that is our storm chaser. The chaser that we use his feed on YouTube. We partnered with him before he blew up. I mean, he was probably about 7,000, 6,000 subscribers when we partnered with him. He's now at 80,000. So we've been, me and him have been friends for, it's only been 6 months. I mean, he's gained like 75,000 subscribers in 6 months. His growth has been absurd. Yep, so they're just going to keep that Southern Severe. They're keeping that Southern Severe storm. Oh, we are now at a PDS. We're now at a PDS Severe Thunderstorm warning. That tornado warning was just expired, and we have a PDS Severe. Now, that is a doozy. Somebody could go to the beginning of the stream where I said, if we're going to see 4-inch hail today, it would be from these cells here. And what's that? That is 4-inch hail. Wow. Like everything we have said in this stream, except for the storm in Minnesota, has actually verified. There you go. Now the 90 mile per hour winds, I was talking about that being after 9 p.m. So we'll see if that's correct. It's looking more like after 9 p.m. now, Eastern. But this is a PDS severe thunderstorm warning for 4-inch hail observed. So that means somebody has found a softball-sized hailstone and sent it into the to the National Weather Service, probably on Twitter. That's where most of the time we get the reports from, is from Twitter, because they can take a picture of it and then at the National Weather Service and send it in. So that is absolutely crazy. Trained weather spotters have reported softball-sized hail. Hail threat is observed, of course. So this is a life-threatening situation for 4-inch hail. So there you go. That verified your enhanced risk. If this was even in the enhanced risk, I knew it too. Yep, that's not even in your enhanced risk for hail. And that's where I'd be shocked if we get bigger hail than 4-inch in diameter. That was the max hailstone I was saying was possible today. But there's a report from Chaser, 4-inch hail, estimated time via radar. That damaged the windshield? Did it break the whole windshield or something? Wow. I would hate to be hit by 4-inch hail. Imagine that, 4-inch hail, and you're traveling at, considering this is mostly dirt roads, 30, maybe, if you're, not the smartest person, 40 miles per hour. Yeah, that's not exactly a recipe for fun there. Going 40 miles per hour, and you get a 4-inch hailstone right to the windshield. Hope that chaser's okay, because that's not, that's not like just a little tiny hailstone. I did see a report of it on Twitter. I just saw it. Let me see if I can find it again. It might be lost in the Twitter. Oh, there it is. Yep. I told you we'd get a report from Twitter. I do not know this chaser, actually. I'm yet to hear about him. Yeah, that's 4-inch hail. They did measure it. They measured it with a little hail measure. I don't know what you call that. And it was 4-inch in diameter. That's some massive hailstones. Holy cow. Gracious. It hit the top right corner of their passenger windshield. That is a massive crack. It hit the top right corner, so it didn't completely shatter the windshield. If it hit like the direct middle, I bet it would have broke the whole windshield. So it did shatter the top right of their windshield, but it didn't completely break it. Here is a view from our chaser, Connor Croft. We're probably going to get an ad. But he shows that completely sideways tilted updraft of that Supercell in Randolph, I believe is the one we're looking at. Actually, no, he's looking at the PDS Severe. This is the PDS Severe Thunderstorm warning that he's looking at. Yes, he's okay, Haley. He is okay. So that's your storm that's currently dropping 4-inch hail. Let's see. Who got pulled over? Proxy. The weed whacker? Let's see here. Connor? Let me see. Hold on. Ooh, Connor did get pulled over. Connor got a ticket. This is his first ticket. Connor might have to be the title, y'all. They just continued that warning now for 3-inch hail. Man. Now he's got a windshield and a ticket to pay for. Northern Illinois County. Let me see. Let's see. So that is Chicago. So like I said, if we're gonna see an enhanced risk up there, all of these storms overnight are going to have to stay north, so that way we can get the instability to build out in Chicago, to build up. So if we have storms, if it's raining in the morning or the afternoon in Chicago, that's going to definitely decrease the threat for severe weather in Chicago or north central Illinois. Another person reported 4-inch hail. Now that is a massive dent. Gracious day. He's also all right. That is ridiculously sized hail right there. Another report of 4-inch hail. We had a couple chasers get their windshields destroyed. But yeah, if we get thunderstorms in the morning hours in Chicago or the afternoon hours, then that's going to take away some of the instability. If we don't see thunderstorms in the morning or afternoon, instability will be allowed to build, and we will have a better chance at damaging winds and large hail in Chicago, as well as generally in this area here. Generally. Connor's back on the road after getting a speeding ticket. But like I said, also keep in mind that could change. Currently, we have a slight risk and a marginal risk out there. They may maintain those two categories, or they might upgrade it to an enhanced. We'll just have to see. That's why in the summertime, like for instance, when we saw the enhanced risk yesterday for today, it's pretty rare. You don't see a enhanced risk day 2 that often. This time of year. Now, in May or, April, yeah, you see that at least once a week. At least once a week. All right, let's go back over to that storm warned for 3-inch hail. So this warning is for 4-inch hail. The extension is for 3-inch hail. So they anticipate this storm to weaken as it progresses more to the east. And you don't want to be caught in that. You don't want to be caught inside a a 4-inch hailstorm. Clara, we don't pre-rate tornadoes, so I can't tell you what EF it would be if we do see tornadoes today or tomorrow. The environment today and tomorrow is not favorable for strong tornadoes. So if we do see like an EF2 plus tornado for today or tomorrow, then just know that it's very rare. It is very rare to see an EF2 plus on a day where we have a 5% or a 2% tornado risk. Today we have a 5%, tomorrow we have a 2%. So I don't want to say an exact, EF for what tornado we may see, but most likely it would be on the lower end if we do see a tornado today or tomorrow. That's crazy. 4-inch hail. So that verified. I should have put 4-inch hail in the title. I was skeptical of that because I didn't know if we'd see these discrete storms or not. We did. And we managed to see that 4-inch hailstone reported by 3 chasers already. 90-mile-per-hour winds. Honestly, still don't think that's going to happen until very late tonight, somewhere out in this area. That's where I'm going to be watching the most for the potential of 80 to 90 mile an hour winds. And most likely that will be after 9 p.m. Eastern. But I don't know. It is looking more messy. There's a chance we don't even get 80 mile per hour winds today, to be honest. Because with the lack of instability in the middle of our enhanced risk, as well as the more messy mode later on tonight, there's definitely a chance that we don't see 80 or 90 mile an hour winds. I always like to see if our title verifies. Most of the time it does. We've had just barely even a handful of instances this year where the risk doesn't meet expectations. We've had quite a few instances where it succeeds or overperforms expectations. So there's one windbag in particular I remember the most, where we were talking about the potential for 90, possibly even 100 mile per hour winds overnight in Wisconsin and Michigan earlier this year. I'm sure some of y'all remember that. And that risk completely did not verify. The most winds we had was like 70 on the eastern side of Wisconsin. But pretty much that whole line just didn't form, and it was very, very weak. And that's what this windbag reminds me of the most because, well, it doesn't look all that impressive at the moment. Go back over to... I mean, man, the satellite just screams MCS2 derecho. But the environment's just not favorable enough. I mean, look at this satellite imagery. You would think that whole line of convection where you see all those cloud tops from southeastern, what is that, Montana, all the way through southwestern South Dakota, you'd think all that's severe, but in reality, just this small southern portion is severe. I mean, that's just a classic signature satellite imagery for like a derecho to occur, but then the environment's just not favorable enough. We don't have enough instability. MCSs and derechos, they have to have a bunch of cape. We have about 1,500 in this particular area. And once it gets to central South Dakota, it gets down to 500, if not near zero instability, which is just not enough. Typically, we look for, in terms of MCSs and derechos, you want to have 3,000, if not greater than that, for those ridiculous lines of damaging winds. Of course, we could still see MCSs and derechos with lesser instability, but they eat up instability, like, ridiculously. That's the main thing you need for MCS and derecho. is a really strong low pressure, and then a really strong low pressure with forcing. So really strong forcing like this. You can see we obviously have very, very strong forcing with this low pressure, and then a bunch of instability out in front of it. And if we switch to it, we do have an instability overlay. Here's our instability overlay, and you can see, look at the lack of cape. We have 750 down here, up to 1,500, and then there's just this big hole of instability right in the middle. So, and that's massive. That is crucial for storms. There's a good chance we don't see much damaging winds, if any, in this area because we have such a lacklustering of instability out there. Now, you can see it on the corner. Gracious day, what was that? You could see it on the corner there. We have a bunch of instability out in here. So once storms, very late tonight, once this line can hit that pocket of very rich 5,000 instability, that's when those storms are going to be able to strengthen and potentially produce 80 to 90 mile per hour winds, which may not happen until, like I said, after 9 o'clock, potentially as late as 1 a.m. Eastern. Because it seems like these, I mean, there's just not enough cape out there. Not enough cape in South Dakota for these storms to thrive enough. What was that? Hold on, let's go back to Minnesota. I need to go find that tweet really quick. Where is this? Let's loop this really fast. I'm trying to see if we had a really good area of rotation or not here. I don't see it. No. Someone was talking about a tornado potentially forming around this area. What scan is that? 20... Let's see. That's this scan. Right here. Actually, I can't even figure out what scan this is exactly. But I definitely don't see any good area of rotation there. Oh well. Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about that. It does not look tornadic whatsoever. Pretty interesting structure, though. Now, this does look like it's trying to ramp up for the, I don't know, 20th time now. I swear we've talked about this storm way too much on the southern side here in Minnesota. And that looks like, again, now it has a good outflow boundary, and you can see it still has its supercellular structure to it. Still looks really good. So we could see a tornado, let me rephrase that. We could see an area of rotation try to spark up over the next couple minutes here, and we'll see if a tornado is possible. But at the moment, this storm's had so many cell merges, I'm not confident on that at all. But you can see a little area rotation is already starting to spark up there. See the green and red southwest of St. George, right where my cursor is. It's already trying to rotate. But we are at a PDS severe thunderstorm warning up here in northeastern Nebraska for now 3-inch hail. It was for 4-inch hail. It's now for 3-inch hail in this radar dead zone. I mean, gracious day, I can't even look at it. Just to the north of Royal in northeastern Nebraska. And then South Dakota is currently, that storm's very weak. We'll go look at it, though, just to see if it's trying. Yeah, no. It's still toward possible. That tornado warning obviously was canceled. I mean, it had a chance for a couple, like, 6 minutes, but then it fell right apart. Pretty good hail core approaching Kyle, possibly around an inch in diameter hail there in Kyle, South Dakota. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this, and we'll see. We'll see if that tries to strengthen further. Doesn't seem like it's doing too good, though. You didn't know that, Kevin? Oh, man. It is awesome, Kevin. Absolutely a lifesaver in some instances. Man. All right, let's go over to... Yeah, that is definitely rotating. Let me go look at... forecasts real quick. I mean, the tornado environment out here, tornado ingredients aren't too bad, but it definitely favors a whole lot more of damaging winds and some small hail. Maybe isolated large hail up to 2-inch in diameter there, which might actually be happening. You can see that hail core is trying to fire. So if we're going to see, you know, 1 inch or 2 in diameter hail, it's going to be from that spot there in Minnesota. Very favorable for damaging winds and some isolated large hail. A brief tornado could still happen, especially if this can get its act together down here in St. George, Minnesota. But it's not the best environment by any means. The best environment is up here in Nebraska, but they're elevated. I've been saying it the whole time. You know, the temperature dew point spread is greater than 10. It's, what, 17, 18 out here. Anything more than 15 is where storms become quite elevated. And that's going to lead to more of a hail threat out here and a lot less of a tornado threat. And that's what we're seeing is a lot more hail as opposed to any type of rotation. So, yeah, still at a PDS severe. I got to keep a close eye on it because there you go. Yeah, they could drop it at any second. They must have just dropped that. Yep, they just dropped that. You can see it updated. Look at all the hail reports from this one storm. Look at that. A lot of hail. I know it says 1 report of 4-inch hail, but we actually had like 3, if not more, chasers report 4+ inch hail there. And look at that. We just got a report of 70-mile-an-hour winds out here in South Dakota, which is going to push this up to a considerable severe. For 70-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail, and a tornado possible. This is the highest severe we've seen in South Dakota in what? Quite a little while. I mean, ever since, let's see, like almost 30 minutes. Almost 30 minutes. Honestly, thought we might have gone even longer with that. But there you go. Now, it is also warned for 1-inch hail as well. I don't see anything interesting for a tornado threat anywhere with any cell, maybe other than the storms going towards the Twin Cities. This is still interesting. If we see more convection fire to the south, then this is not going to be able to become tornadic. But if it continues with this nature of it staying semi-discrete out here on the southern tail of this line, we might just be able to get a solid area of rotation out of this area here as it moves up to the northeast. Or the east-northeast. Minnesota, it's almost, not Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is almost your time for some severe storms. We were talking about 8:30 Eastern. These severe storms will approach the western side of the metro, most likely right around 8 p.m. Eastern time. If we're going to see a tornado out here in Minnesota, the most likely area is still on the southern side, right out in this area. That's really ramping up. That is really, really ramping up. Look at that. That is a very weird supercell, but like, what's going on with that hook? But it's still a supercell. That is a pretty tight hook echo as well. So this is most likely rotating quite rapidly here. Really good couplet developed now. Just to the southwest of Lafayette, Minnesota. We'll see if that can try. We'll see if that can try. But if we keep seeing convection on the west side, it's going to continue to fail. It also has an outflow boundary now, which is also going to help increase the threat of this rotating. It's going to help increase inflow here. Legacy, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you in here. You're only 2 hours late. You are a little late. You are just a little late, but better late than never. Glad to at least have you in here. Currently going to look for some cameras out here. We do have a site that allows us to use cameras in Minnesota. And I want to see if we have any cameras out here. So there's Henderson. Here's Henderson. Oh my word. Please be live. Please be live. Dang it. Dang it. We have a camera right here, but it's not live. Right in this town, we have a camera. But unfortunately, it is not live. See if I can find traffic. Let's see. Live traffic cams? Maybe that will work. You never know, right? You never know. Let's see. Okay, we do have cameras, but they're far away from this storm. Let's see. Okay. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this storm in Minnesota. Okay, you know what? I'm not doing that one. Yeah, heck no. Yeah, that's still trying to rotate. And I believe we are back up to a destructive severe. Yep. Right back up to 4-inch hail. This is a different storm with 4-inch hail. There you go. Randolph now under a PDS severe for 4-inch hail. Yes, but I don't think I can use railfan cams. And the site I was gonna use, it has still cameras, so it's not the best. And then I looked up a live feed, but it wants me to pay $250, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Softball-sized tail from trained weather spotters. So we do have some still cameras in Minnesota, but nothing live. What about Nebraska? Let's see. So we're back up, like I said, to a PDS severe for 4-inch hail. Make sure you are in your safe spot. That is for Randolph in northeastern Nebraska. Connor Croft is somewhere. I hope that helps. All right, let's look up where he is. He is in Brunswick, Nebraska. Man, there's no radar out here. There's no radar at all. So he's somewhere right where my cursor is. I don't think he's going to be able to go to that storm with 4-inch hail. They did put Tor Possible on that storm in Minnesota, which is a good call. Even though the rotation looks like it died out. But that is now warned for a for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and Tor Possible. So if you're in that severe, make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows, close to your safe spot, as we could see a tornado attempt to form near the Cortland area in south central Minnesota. Also, if you're in that PDS severe for 4-inch hail in Randolph in northeastern Nebraska, seek shelter immediately. It's a life-threatening situation with the potential for 4-inch hail. That is PDS, which is a particularly dangerous situation. I'm going to go over to this really quick. Let me see, y'all. Okay. Give me just a moment, y'all. So Connor is still going after that storm for 4-inch hail. Man. Yeah, that's that's interesting. I don't know if I'd be going for a storm with 4-inch hail, but he is going for it. And he's also pretty far behind, so I'm pretty surprised by that. Let's see. So I don't think this one's PDS. That's not true. Yeah. It's just this one that's PDS for Randolph. I don't even want to try to pronounce the other town names because I'm going to butcher them. Randolph up here in northeastern Nebraska. So seek shelter. You need to be in your safe spot. In your safe spot if you're in that orange polygon. Which orange is a PDS severe thunderstorm warning. At least on my color tables and my warning settings. Oh, I still have this guy pulled up. I didn't even look at his feed at all for that tornado warning back in southwestern South Dakota, like near an hour ago. It was probably more like 30 minutes ago, honestly. Yeah, these storms are also leaving a favorable environment for tornadoes. So if they were going to produce tornadoes, they probably would have already. So I don't believe they're going to be a tornado threat here. Just a ridiculously, and I mean ridiculously, large hail threat. Man, wow. Yeah, very impressive storm structure here. And we could also use MRMS. I'm looking at a live feed that I can't show. But yeah, there you go. There's a report of 3.25-inch hail. We'll see if that 4-inch hail report comes in here soon. But yeah, definitely the primary supercell. This one's died out fast. Very fast. The one towards Craigton. So our primary supercell at the moment, primary storm to watch, is definitely the one in Carroll out here in northeastern Nebraska. Still keeping an eye on the storm in Minnesota, but the tornado potential looks to have gone down with that. because of, well, the hook just kind of fell apart. Maybe in part to that storm further to the south that formed. Still a considerable severe out here for 70-mile-an-hour winds, which is a significant severe. So make sure you are at minimum indoors, away from doors and windows if you're in this significant severe in southwestern South Dakota. I know we're hopping all over the place here. That's your main line. If we're going to see 90-mile-per-hour winds, it's going to be from this line, probably close to 1 a.m. Eastern. Because 1 a.m. seems to be when the environment's going to be the most favorable for damaging winds. Definitely after 9 p.m. for sure. I don't know if it will be exactly 1 a.m., but sometime between like now and 2 a.m. we should have around 80 to 90-mile-per-hour winds. See you later, Lakeisha. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later. We'll be live tomorrow evening at some point. And we'll be live Thursday too. Yeah. Unless I chase Thursday, we'll be live Thursday as well. Most likely we'll be live. You know, we're live now. Tomorrow we'll be live, and Thursday we'll also be live. Wednesday we'll also be live. I keep thinking today's Tuesday, so actually I don't know about a stream Thursday. We'll be live today, live tomorrow, and live Wednesday. Thursday is going to depend on what happens in the Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois area, depending on where that trough goes. Hold on, I want to go to Minnesota. Let's see. Give me just a second. Interesting. We could have had a brief spin-up tornado here. It's hard to tell if that's contamination or not. I would bet it is. But if it's not contamination, we may have had a brief spin-up tornado out here in southwestern Minnesota. Just to the southwest of St. George, Minnesota. Doesn't look like it's too definitive of a signature. No debris signature, so that's good. But that velocity couplet is tight and interesting for sure. Only the SPC, or rather, only the National Weather Service will be able to figure that out, because they'll be able to go and survey that area if they get any reports of damage. If they get reports of damage, they'll go survey. Let's go back to Nebraska. So that storm, they're still keeping a severe on it, downgraded all the way to 1.25-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. And of course, we still have this PDS severe warning for 4-inch hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds for Carroll in northeastern Nebraska. Supposed to be a South Dakota day, and it ended up being a northeast Nebraska day, which I did not have on my bingo card at all. Nebraska, I really didn't think was going to see anything out of this event. And they ended up seeing the most, so far at least. It's crazy how the model runs yesterday looked compared to today. I'm telling you, uncertainty is ridiculous in the summertime. Okay. What? I don't know about this. take this lightly, please. But I just got a report of a large wedge tornado ongoing northwest of this city. This was approximately 7-ish minutes ago. That would line up with our area of rotation. But take that lightly. It's a clear picture of a wedge tornado. A very clear picture of a wedge tornado, but I don't want to get ahead of myself here. I feel like that might be something's going on there, but we do have a report, single report of a wedge tornado ongoing northwest, which would put it right here of this city. Probably already lifted. I don't think it would have lasted long considering the occlusion process, but we may have had a wedge tornado here, unwarned. I am going to tweet about that because it is a report, so bear with me whilst I tweet about that. Go ahead and flop this here. I like to do ZDR. Oops. Let's see, what was it called? New ULM. Okay. There you go. Let's see what chat said about that. Yeah, it is unwarned. But that it's just a single report. I did see a picture. I should have. Okay, I'll like it so that way I could come back to it if I need to. But that's crazy. We'll see if the National Weather Service in Twin Cities tornado warns this at all. We were talking about that storm for the last 2 hours, literally. We've been talking about this storm for the last 2 hours about it, how it could produce a tornado. And it did it. It looks like it did it, according to reports. Northwest of New... I still don't know how to pronounce that. That was northwest. This is in Minnesota. No, I just posted the radar screenshot. I don't want to post the picture. It's northeast of Sleepy Eye in southern Minnesota. We had an unwarned wedge tornado, according to a chaser. One chaser. So do take it a little bit lighter because it might not be true. They did downgrade this warning in northeastern Nebraska to 2.75-inch hail now. So that is good news. My goodness. So Connor is currently behind this storm. He is right here, moving to the east-northeast. He's going to keep chasing after this storm because, like I said before, there's really no point in going elsewhere. Because if he books it up to this line, it's going to be dark before he can get to it. And that line doesn't even look impressive for really anything else. If you want more damaging winds, I guess you could go up there. But this storm currently is the highest warned storm at the moment, which is a PDS warning for 2.75-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Man. Whoa. Oh, whoa, hold on. Oh. Huh. Interesting. So, something I said in my YouTube video that now has 2,000 views just happened. We now have an AOI, an area of interest from the National Hurricane Center in the Atlantic. They have just put an AOI 20% chance in the Atlantic. Wow. Gracious day. That is something. I didn't expect it to be that early. I'm still getting over the Wedge tornado, though, y'all. That's what I was saying Gracious Day about. I'm still getting over the Wedge tornado. Wow. It's not on the NHC. If you go to the NHC right now, it's not out there. Here you go. Here you go. So if you go to the NHC right now, it's not there, right? But you can clearly see there is one AOI. And if you go down here, 20% chance of tropical development. So whilst it doesn't show up, oh, look at that. This is there. It's there. You just can't see it. It's invisible. It's right there. So there, no, does it go? Oh, it goes to the Lesser Antilles. It stops right there. It's not visible on the map, but you can see that it says it right in here. So it is the first wave that we were talking about. Wow. I'm still getting over the fact that we may have actually had an unwarned wedge today. Which, we weren't, I mean, we didn't really pay much attention to that scan because it looked like corruption, so I saw it and then just went over it and didn't talk about it. Because you guys saw me, earlier, what, like 15 minutes ago now? I did look at this scan, but I switched between the products and then I just went on because I felt like that is and I kind of still feel like that might have been corruption, but we do have reports of a wedge tornado there, so I don't, like I said, kind of take it with a grain of salt there. It's just a singular report. Just one person reported it, one picture. So just kind of take it a little bit lightly there. Because I'm not for certain by any means, but we do have a report that a wedge tornado occurred now about 15 minutes ago northeast of Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. Also, look at that. We do have an area of rotation. Now, that is a pretty good area of rotation and just got stronger. West of the Twin Cities radar site. That is a good area of rotation. So watch that closely. That is a pretty good area of rotation that has sparked up over the last couple frames over Mayer. Over Mayer, Minnesota, south of Watertown, northwest of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. That radar site. So, dead west of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Okay, did they get rid of that PDS Severe? Not yet. Still there. Still have a PDS Severe for a 2.75-inch hail in northeastern Nebraska. Also, still a significant severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds out here in Martin in southwestern South Dakota. We're going to stay here in Minnesota most likely because this is our most concerning scan that we've seen today, minus the apparent unwarned wedge tornado. So, we'll see. We'll see what this little area of rotation can do. Give me just a moment, y'all. Okay, that area of rotation died out in one scan. Look at that. Completely gone. It's still a little broad region, though. So still watch it. But it did die out on that last scan. And there's the NHC. There you go. Now they've updated it. It should be no longer glitched. Nope. No glitch. So there's our 20% chance for tropical development there throughout the next 7 days. Not surprised by that. I did think it'd take a little longer, though. But turns out, nope. There you go. So we'll keep an eye on that. We probably won't talk, we'll talk about that every now and then in between streams coverages, but that's not going to be the focus of a live stream until after Wednesday, because Wednesday we have a severe risk. So we'll be covering severe weather today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And if there's nothing severe to cover on Thursday, we'll see what we do Thursday. I don't know. I do not know what we'll do Thursday. This does seem like it is becoming a whole lot less organized. That outflow boundary went in front of it, so the chance of this dropping another tornado, like it somehow managed to drop an unwarned wedge, near zero now. That outflow boundary's gone, the hook's gone, the whole entire base of the supercell looks a lot more disorganized. It doesn't have a good look to it, so very, very, very disorganized now. Matter of fact, hold on, I will give props to the National Weather Service in Twin Cities for this one. They did put a Tor possible tag on this storm. They saw the little area rotation and how it started to look like it was trying to rotate, so it was actually Tor possible once it dropped that wedge tornado. So it wasn't tornado warned, but it was Tor possible, which is, better. It is definitely better than just a normal severe or zero warning whatsoever. Because like I've said, with a Tor possible severe, normally what I say is make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows, and close to your safe spot. Let's see. I do think this radar is glitching, yeah. We could have winds up to about 50, maybe pushing 60-mile-per-hour winds here. This is a special weather statement for 50, just west of the Twin Cities. So if you are in the Twin Cities here in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, I highly suggest making sure everything is buckled down out there in your yard. If it can move and it can become debris, make sure you bring it inside or tie it down or put it in a garage or just something to help it not fly away. And stay away from doors and windows and stay indoors. You do have a couple more minutes to, buckle things down outside, but no more than probably 2-3 minutes. So if you got to tie down some loose objects out there, tie it down now and run inside as quick as you can before that lightning starts nearing your area. All right, we did just lose that PDS severe. I thought so. So I went to check it. We just lost that. There you go. So good news there. Still at a significant severe, considerable severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds here, as well as 1-inch hail and a tour possible tag in southwestern South Dakota. So we'll keep monitoring that as well. Yeah, very eventful proxy. Unwarned Wedge tornado, multiple instances, 2 storms that produced 4-inch hail, but multiple reports of 4-inch hail. Multiple events of 70+ mile-an-hour winds. We haven't seen 80 or anywhere even remotely close to 90 mile-per-hour winds yet. The primary wind threat is expected to be after dark. So that wind threat, at the moment, it is underperforming, but until the event's completely over, we can't say that it is fully underperformed. So the primary damaging wind threat on most models look to be right around midnight 1 a.m. But of course, we extend that window. So I'm looking for 80 to 90 mile-an-hour winds anywhere between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. Eastern. Let's see. For Thursday, there's currently no outlined risk from the Storm Prediction Center. The SPC does note the potential for some severe weather to exist in the Midwest into potentially Ontario. However, there's no highlighted risk at this time due to uncertainty. So they may outline a risk for severe weather on Thursday somewhere generally out here. Maybe even just a tad bit to the southwest, but probably not. Yeah, Wednesday's a completely different ordeal. There is a slight risk for severe weather on Wednesday for the far northeastern Midwest. There you go. Far northeastern Ohio, southeastern Michigan. I do not think Wednesday will be notable in the Northeast at the moment, but I do think we could have a decent tornado threat in South Dakota and North Dakota on Wednesday. And then tomorrow, we'll definitely be eyeing southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, northwestern Indiana tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. And we will probably end up streaming that. I plan on it at the moment. All right, they did decide to pull the 70-mile-per-hour trigger on this, which I agree is a very good call. I didn't want to say anything until they decided to pull that because I didn't want to look, a little dumb. Not gonna lie, because there is a pocket of 70 to potentially even 80-mile-per-hour winds here moving into the Twin Cities. I would have pointed that out, but I kind of didn't want to, point something out and then be completely dead wrong. But now, if you're in the Twin Cities, you're under a severe for the threat of 70, and we could even see gusts up to 80 here as this moves through downtown Minneapolis. So we were saying, wow, our time frame was dead on. We said about 8:30 Eastern for this stuff to hit downtown Minneapolis, and it's going to be exactly between 8:30 Eastern. We called that out 2 hours in advance. Today, I have done some wild call-outs. We called out that tornado that storm that produced the Wedge tornado an hour, if not more, in advance. We called out the area for 4-inch hail 2 hours in advance. We called out this storm 2 hours in advance. Now, the storms in South Dakota, I haven't made any predictions on that because I don't know what's going to happen there. Aside from, I still believe our primary damaging wind threat will be in this area very late tonight. Did they extend that watch? That looks extended. No, they didn't. It's actually just been that long. It looks that looks a little bit longer than I remember. But our main storm now, we'll check through all this stuff. So stuff in Nebraska's dying out right when we thought, right between 8 9 p.m. That stuff's beginning to die out. It's still going to take another hour probably before it fully dies out. This is significant for 70-mile-an-hour winds to our possible and 1-inch hail. And our main storm, in my opinion, at this moment is going into the Twin Cities, where we may even have a pocket of 70 to 80 mile per hour winds moving into downtown Minneapolis. I don't think we'll have live cams here, but I should have at least a few still images of cameras out here for y'all. See if I can find any good cameras for y'all that doesn't just point right down at the road. Well, here's one inside the storm, and it doesn't look too fun, gotta say. This is from Minnesota.org, which is public traffic cams for everyone to use. And video, hold on. I don't know if this is going to show an ad. Nobody told me this might have been a video. See if this actually plays as a video here. I don't think it's going to. Doesn't seem like it is. Well, it seems like they're videos, but they're not loading. Like, it says play video at the bottom left, and then you click it, and it does nothing. Like, if we switch to this camera, play video. Oh, it played! It played! Look at that! We got video! We got video! Let's go! One of them played. I don't know where the heck this is, though. I might have to go look, let me pull up this site on a different tab. Let's see, 511 Minnesota. Dude, this might be the best camera we've ever had. There's hundreds. There's hundreds of cameras in Minnesota. Whoa, that's a good one. See if I can get this one to play. This is in the Twin Cities. I don't know exactly where, but it's in like the west-southwest side of the Twin Cities where we're seeing that severe roll through. I'm going to try to see if I can get y'all a view of the storm. That's my goal here. Goal is to get a view of the storm. Here is one directly in the path of the storm being hit right now. It was just playing. Come on, you can do it. Come back to me. I don't think it's going to come back to us, y'all. I'm going to keep looking. I've got two of this site open. I don't think this video is going to play. Okay, well, here's another one. Don't you stop. It stopped right as I pushed it over here. There you go. You know what? I know what it is. I gotta refresh it whenever I switch it to the tab. Sorry for switching so much, but we're gonna refresh this, and then it will work. Ta-da! I'm gonna push this radar site over here, so that way I can look at the storm on radar. Oh, this might actually be going down. Yeah, look at those wind gusts. This is directly where the storm's hitting. This is, I think in, if not just to the east of Victoria. Dude, it's like over our radar site. This is really bad. Gracious day. This is very close to our radar site. I think it's just west of our radar site, which is our pocket of 70, maybe even 80 mile per hour winds. And you can see it is definitely some damaging winds out there. I'm going to try to pull up more cameras for y'all whilst this continues to run. Let's see here. See if I can pull up any more. Ooh, that's a good view. We got a good view of the storm, but I don't think it's going to play. It's a pretty flat base. It doesn't look interesting in terms of, like, you know, supercellular, but definitely a damaging storm in terms of damaging winds. All right, I got another one in the direct path of this storm, too. There's hundreds. I can't look through them all. There's hundreds of cameras in the path of this storm. Hundreds. We've been blessed by cameras for once. We have too many options. The only other time I can remember the time we had too many options was with the New Orleans storms that produced, like, multiple tornadoes. I think that was a near derecho. It was very close to a derecho. That one time we had a moderate in Louisiana. It's knocking out some cameras. No, we've lost 5 cameras so far. They're red on this on the map now. Okay, now there's 3. We're losing some cameras. I'm shocked this one ain't going out. This is literally like the best traffic cams I've ever seen. It might not be as solid enough of a velocity signature for a PDS, Kevin. Now, if they start getting reports, then they'll pull that PDS in less than a second. They'll pull it right away. I bet they have it ready to go. Oh, we got a view of it now. I kind of don't want to pull y'all away from this because it's really good, but I have a pretty good view of the shelf cloud. This is north of Bloomington. North of Bloomington. So, yeah, directly where this storm's going. It's in Ida, E-D-I-N-A, northwest of Richfield in downtown Minneapolis. Really good view of the shelf cloud. I'm just going to show it for a second. I know this stuff's about to get knocked out, but here's a really good view of the shelf cloud. I'll refresh it here. Very, very large shelf moving into the downtown Twin Cities. Just wanted to show you guys that. Now I'll let you go back to your really windy camera. I'm also going to check on the other storms really fast. Make sure everything else is behaving. Pretty much is. We can view exactly where this is. I'm going to view it. So this isn't even where the peak winds are. This is on, like, the southwest side of Minneapolis. So this isn't where the worst winds will be by any means. Let's see if I can find something better here. Oh, that's a good camera if it gets hit. It is holding on for its life, isn't it? This isn't the peak winds. Like, we're not directly where we should be seeing those potentially up to 70, maybe even upwards of 80 mile per hour winds here. Look at this. It also has a green glow to it as well. This is a different view of the shelf. You can see the green glow inside the storm, too. Slightly green. It looked more green on my other monitor, not even gonna lie. It doesn't look green when I put it on y'all's monitor over there, where stream can see it. Can I get a camera, like, right here if I can? Richfield, is that where we're getting the worst here? Yeah, Richfield, Bloomington is where we'll get the worst winds. So I'm going to look for a good camera right around there. See if I can get a good one, y'all. Maybe go back to that camera I had before. This area is getting slammed. I'm also trying to find a sturdy camera too. I don't want one that's going to go out in a second. All right, I think this is the best camera I can find. So we'll switch those. That was a damage report. I just saw a damage report. So this is going to be just in between Richfield and Bloomington in Minnesota. We might want to go a little bit more north on the cameras. This might be too far south for a pocket of the greatest velocities and damaging winds. So I'll look for a camera that's pretty good just a bit more north of this. It's not going to be getting hit now. Give it about 5 minutes and then it should get hit. There's no way it misses this camera, literally. I mean, we're in the heart of it. Right square in the middle. Whoa, that one's bad. Has it gotten to this camera yet? This storm's knocking out some cams. Again, this is in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, so Minneapolis, Minnesota's where we're looking here. This is in just barely north of Bloomington, south of Richfield, Minnesota, which again is in downtown Minneapolis. I'm just looking for a better camera here. Let's see. Got an ad on Connor's feed. Pete, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you in here. You came in on a pretty good time. We're about to see a storm hit our camera here in downtown Minneapolis. Did it just die? Come back, camera. No way. Well, good thing we have another 100 cameras from where that one is. We don't need that exact one. Let's see, here's a pretty good one too. Let's see where this one is. Alright, this one's going to be just barely north of the one you're watching now. So this one's just slightly more north of Bloomington. Because we don't want to miss it now. Oh, our other camera's back. Well, whichever one gets worse, I will keep up. I'm going to watch both. But whichever one gets worse, we'll just flip between the two. Multiple reports of damaging winds and power outages and down trees out here in the Twin Cities. So do seek shelter if you are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's see here. Still a considerable severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds. We could have gusts locally up to 80. Potentially up to 80. Because we did have some pretty strong velocity signatures. And this camera should be hit here in 4 minutes. Which, based on radar, the fact that it takes longer, probably 2. It'll probably be 2 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead and move Connor Croft, actually. What we're gonna do is we're gonna dual camera it. We are gonna dual camera it, y'all. We're gonna keep this one as our main one here. There you go. There you go. Now we got 2 cameras, and our top one ain't playing. This one's not perfectly centered here, the main one, but that's okay. Both of them are just windy. Once one becomes better than the other, we'll go full screen like we were just seconds ago. Connor just hit a big bump. Man. Yeah, both of these cameras are in the direct path of the best swath of damaging winds. It looks like the most damaging winds are going in between Edna and Burnsville. This camera is directly in the middle of that, right around Bloomington. Both of these. The one on your primary screen here, this one is very close to Bloomington, whereas the one above my face cam is just south of Bloomington. That is in, of course, Minnesota, in the downtown Twin Cities. Also, our storms in northeastern Nebraska, they are dying off very fast. They're still dying off quickly. One of them is completely done. It is almost completely died out, and then the other one is dying out rapidly. So, really going to be 2 areas to watch. One is going to be out here in the Twin Cities, in Minnesota, and then the other one will be in South Dakota, extreme north central Nebraska. Well, if we were to end stream, we'd end in 3 minutes, but we're not. We're going to keep going. We're going to stay probably for near another hour. That sounds good because we'll get the new Outlook. We'll stay for an hour so that way we can see the new SPC Outlook. I think we lost our camera above my face cam here. We're also getting down on severes. We have just 5 severes left, y'all. So we are definitely getting down on severes. Catman, if I ended at the time I planned, you would have missed the stream again. We would have started ending now. Man, school's really gotten to you, huh? Glad to at least see you make it. Glad to see you in here as well, Andrea. Our camera's dead. Above my face cam, it's not working. Well, we'll go full screen on this one. I'll still keep that other one up till it loads, if it does load. Man. Not that bad at the moment. Compared to the other camera we saw at first, this is nothing. First two cameras we looked at were crazy. Oh, here's a pretty good one. Don't you dare go out on me, camera. There's a pretty good one. I just found that. I believe that is, you know, we're going to look together. So that's southwest. That's in like the heart of the storm currently. So this is what Bloomington should look like in the next 5 minutes. We'll see if it does or not. I can't get the other cameras back up. All the cameras are starting to struggle, y'all. At least we figured out they had videos before the storm really rolled through. We got pretty lucky on that. Alright, now our other camera's getting pretty bad, too. So this one's also getting pretty rough. That's the one in between Bloomington and Richfield, I believe it was. I already forgot, not gonna lie. Richfield, I was right. Yeah, this still has velocities of almost 70, so it is weakening because those velocities were up to 85 at one point. We just got a report of multiple trees down and power outages in the Twin Cities here in Minnesota. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and share the stream with your family, friends, social media. We're 24 likes off from our like goal, and we'll probably hit it after we finish streaming. And if you're new to the stream, consider subscribing with the notification bell set to all. It's greatly appreciated, so that way you know when I go live or upload a video. As I was saying that, I was looking up the power outages. We have 7,000 people without power in the Twin Cities overall in this general area, including most of the counties in Minneapolis and around Minneapolis. We have almost 30,000 people without power. Power. Let's see here. So a lot of power outages here. Oh, did we just... That was a crazy gust. I wasn't looking. I saw it in my peripheral vision, so I didn't see exactly how crazy it was. Look at it. It's getting really bad. It's not this bad on the other camera. I'm looking at the other camera right now. Let me see this. Look for other cameras here. Whoa, that one's good too. There's a few pretty good cameras here. They all seem to have really the same gusty winds, which is probably around 60 mile an hour wind gust. Iowa County, Wisconsin. I don't think you'll see much. Honestly, you are in the risk for 60 mile an hour winds overnight. Of course, into tomorrow morning as well, but I personally don't think you will see a whole lot out there. But yeah, let me see if we, this one. We're going to wait for this storm to pass through, and we're going to wait for the new SPC outlook here, and then we'll conclude stream. I can't do math. It'll probably be 9:20 when we completely end stream. Yeah, that camera's starting to wind down too. Just to give you guys a radar update here. This storm is still a significant severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail, and a tornado possible in southwestern South Dakota. These are what's left of your 2 supercells that produced 4-inch hail. This storm is now very weak, warned for just 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. This storm is completely done. It is dying out completely. Main storm, the one we're watching in Minnesota, that just got extended for 70-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail into west central Wisconsin. Also, a few reports here, multiple trees down, power outages, and multiple power outages and a large tree down as well in Minneapolis, Minnesota. All right, let me see which video I want to show y'all now. Okay, I'm going to pull y'all over to this camera, probably. Yeah, this is one just north of Bloomington. I'm going to have to refresh it to play it. There you go. Connor has wrapped up his stream, so he's going to be done here very soon. He's concluded his chase. He's still live watching the storm die out, but he's concluded his chase. There's still another round coming in. It's just, it's going to be a lot later. I am not even kidding. The new 18Z GFS has an exact repeat of Ernesto. A little bit east of Bermuda and east of Nova Scotia, but pretty much an exact repeat of Ernesto for that system we're watching in the main development region. That is crazy how it shows like the exact same scenarios we just saw earlier this month. We just finished with Ernesto, probably not, but like 4 days ago or so. Man. I'm going to go look at some ensembles whilst y'all watch this video. Whilst you guys are watching the video of this storm roll through Twin Cities in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Because I haven't gotten to look at any ensembles today for hurricanes at all. Haven't looked at a single ensemble run. Wow, that's a lot more gracious. That's a lot more aggressive than when I made my video, too. So models are just, and ensembles are continuing to increase with the threat of a lot of hurricanes and a lot of tropical storms and hurricanes forming in September, including a few possibly in the Gulf as well. Yeah, they're pretty, yeah, the ensembles are really set on almost another Ernesto situation happening. So we'll probably see another system that goes through the Lesser Antilles, hits near Puerto Rico, and then moves up and out to sea. Or who knows, maybe it goes right towards the U.S. We'll see. But yep, storms have definitely weakened a lot. That storm in northeastern Nebraska, no longer severe warned. Storms in southwest Nebraska, we had one severe, and then that was it. Everything else has stayed sub-severe. We have not seen a watch there, so really just South Dakota, Minnesota to watch, and that is it. Holy cow. Well, we're not going to see anything else from these cams here, but I want to show y'all this. Look at this. Let me go over here. Sorry, I got to get things fixed out. Look at that. We are getting a area of rotation trying to wrap up quite rapidly up here. They just put a new severe on this for 70-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail, and a tour possible tag. Look at that. So that storm's moving up to the east here. And that is definitely starting to wrap up and rotate south of Cambridge in Minnesota. So we'll be watching that one closely. Main thing will be the SPC outlook in 30 minutes, and then a couple minutes after that we'll conclude. Connor will be chasing Wednesday, so we'll be right back here using Connor's feed to help us see some more storms as we go to Wednesday. He won't be live tomorrow because tomorrow looks conditional in north central Illinois, so he's going to go for Wednesday's severe threat. So, yeah, we'll keep watching that. Let's see here. So we'll continue to watch that, y'all. We're just going to wait. We're going to be a little bit more quiet now. We're kind of getting towards the end of the stream. So normally we get a little bit more quiet as we get, later and later in the stream. So we'll just still watch these storms. It looks like Minnesota might be the main area now. That might be where we see the most damaging winds and potential tonight. So we'll watch this area closely. That looks pretty rough. That might continue to strengthen here. Yeah, the new HRRR does show that lasting throughout the night too. So that might be another main area to watch tonight. It will be. Do we have a slight risk out that far? Yeah, these storms are in the enhanced risk, and they'll continue in that too. Wow. That's crazy. Both of these are in the enhanced. So we'll watch this area for damaging winds as well as this area for damaging winds over the next overnight. And that's going to be your two main areas. I mean, there's not really going to be much more to watch than that. Also, I do want to note this storm could curve more up like this. It may not go straight into like southern Minnesota, northern Iowa. It may take more of a northeastern track with time. So this area is probably going to be left out of severe weather today. I don't think y'all have seen anything up here throughout the whole day. I don't really think you'll see anything later today either. So if you're in this area, it's looking pretty good at the moment. Severe weather looks to probably stay to your south and well to your east. And then the severe threat is not fully done yet, because we will have storms scraping the northern side of this these two different severe watches here. And we should see another severe watch eventually issued in here. Most likely we'll see another watch somewhere in here. Okay, that fell apart fast. Wow. Well, that looked good for a little while, but now it fell apart within 1-2 scans. So that's good news. Hopefully everything falls apart that fast. Well, our chaser has ended. He's concluded after about 3 hours, 15 minutes of chasing. We'll conclude our coverage at 4 hours in. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what we get for the new SPC outlook here. Yeah. There's a lot of reports of damaging winds throughout the entire metro area of Minneapolis, so I don't see many at the moment, which is good, but there's a lot of reports still coming in. Most of them are power outages and trees down. Our only tour possible severe, I believe, is that storm in northern Minnesota. Nope. We also, okay, 2 tour possible. So the one in northern Minnesota, this one is tour possible for Cambridge, North Branch, Minnesota. And then our other one is actually in South Dakota. This is also tour possible. These storms are moving into a radar hole for the next 3 hours until they get all the way into eastern, southeastern South Dakota around midnight. So if we did stay on, it would really just be to cover that threat in Minnesota. But like I said, we're going to stay here for another 45 minutes, wait for the SPC outlook, and then just make sure and hope that everything starts to die down. Which we are back up to 6 severe storms. We'll lose, let's see. We'll lose one of those in 10 minutes. We have 3 severes in Minnesota. You're looking at the 3 severes out here. 1 in Nebraska. Actually, 2 in Nebraska. 1 in South Dakota. So that's where your 6 severes are. We have 1 in South Dakota, 2 in Nebraska, and then 3 in Minnesota. So, yeah, this definitely tried, for sure. The instability department just wasn't good enough out here. I'll show you guys the satellite imagery. Probably one of the... Jeez, that's an explosion of storms. Holy cow. Look at that bomb that went off in Minnesota. Holy cow. Look at that. Gracious day. Yeah, that is continuing to explode. That's definitely going to be where your primary threat is, probably for the next couple hours, until these storms start to pop off in this area here. So this will be the main area to watch for the next 2, maybe 3 hours. And then after that, it's going to become this area to watch for, you know, all the way from what I've seen on models, it will probably be midnight to 2 a.m. But yeah, it's probably going to be midnight to 2 a.m. considering the storms are this far west already. That is a big old explosion of thunderstorms that exploded there in Minnesota. Wow. Still one of the most impressive satellite imageries I've seen probably almost of the year. I wouldn't say of the year, but almost of the year. Just extremely, extremely impressive. Can we see this with this loop? Yeah. Nope, not really. I want to kind of... I guess we'll just settle for this one. Really, if you just don't know, like, the magnitude of the storms, because we had all that cape, if you just show me the satellite imagery, I mean, gracious day, that looks like an MCS to maybe even a derecho, but just not enough energy. Not enough energy in the atmosphere. Still could do quite a lot of significant damaging winds overnight, though. Here's a look at it from one of our other mesosectors here. Definitely an explosion of storms. Didn't live up completely to what we expected, though. Go back to 24 frames. These are the 2 I like to do because it's, or is it this one? This one. Yeah, I like to overlay those 2 for lightning. There was quite a decent amount of cloud cover, but not a ridiculous amount. There was a boundary that sunk way too far south, and it cleaned out instability. See this boundary? Let me zoom out some more. There's this boundary. If I go back, you could see it better. There was a boundary here. that started in South Dakota and moved south, and it just took out all the instability in this whole area, or a good chunk of that area. Not all of it, because if you look at your mesoanalysis, you look at instability, a good chunk of that area, almost all of it, was left without instability because of that boundary. Yeah, those storms in Minnesota, Wisconsin, that might be your main event, to be honest with you. This just might be your main event today. Because they've had great instability all day. And they're going to continue at least for the next 3 hours. Yeah, now that whole line is severe. They've just severed that whole line now. So we will probably see a new watch issued pretty soon, considering those storms are angled out of the watch area. You can see that's where our watch ends, so we'll probably see a new watch in about an hour for this area. And they may extend that enhanced risk more east, thanks to the amount of instability that is in place ahead of this line. I would not be shocked in 20 minutes if they extend that enhanced risk more to the east to include possibly all the way to, like, can't pronounce it, in Wisconsin. Yeah, there's about 7K out here. There was 8K in Iowa earlier. So there's a big line that has successfully formed right over the Twin Cities and now moving east of the Twin Cities. And that is going to be capable of producing significant damaging winds, possibly upwards of 80 miles per hour as it moves eastward. Waiting on the 00ZH which starts in about 15 minutes here. Just 18 likes away from our like goal, so if y'all haven't already, please consider hitting that like button to help us reach more people with the word of this severe weather. And if you haven't already, make sure you can share the stream with your family, friends, social media. And if you like, tune into these live streams and you want to see more coverage like this, subscribe to the channel with a notification bell set to all so you know when I go live or upload a video. Like I said, we will be live again tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow. Probably, let's see. We'll be live tomorrow probably right around 6 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, we will be live, and Thursday is up in the air at the moment. Let me watch this video really quick. Wow. Just watched a video of 3 trees and a light post that fell over in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Wow. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because this was definitely a significant line. The most significant was on the southern side, and now it's spread throughout the whole line. So we'll watch for even a brief spin-up tornado on the northern side, and then significant damaging winds on the southern side, and kind of a 50-50, most likely damaging winds in the middle as well. Damaging winds along the whole line, but the most significant will probably be on the southern edge. Yeah, I plan to live stream tomorrow night, Rain Maves. I plan to live stream Wednesday. I'm live now. And Thursday, I don't know. It's too far out to see what will happen Thursday. Tomorrow, regardless, I'll be live tomorrow. It just depends on coverage, though. We may do a briefing. We may do coverage. It's just going to depend on how tomorrow's threat looks. So we'll see. Tomorrow could range anywhere from a 1-hour stream to potentially up to a 4-hour stream. Today's going to be a 4-hour stream. We're calling it here in about 35 minutes. Even though this line's going to stay significant for a while, I think we've covered enough of this event. These storms are going into a radar hole, and I just don't feel like they're going to stay significant for so much longer until they get to possibly near Sioux Falls and near 1 a.m. They might have another burst of intensification. And then those storms in Minnesota, those are slowly creeping into a radar hole as well. We don't have any radars in this whole area of Wisconsin, so we won't be able to see the storms in this area. So both of the storms are heading into a radar hole, which is just not fun for coverage, not entertaining or interesting to track. And we'll also get the new SPC outlook here in 15 minutes, so... I'm also running out of water. Also running out of water. And I'd like to do a couple other things tonight because we'll be right back here tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Wednesday should be a pretty big day for severe weather. Whoa. Whole computer just flashed. That actually scared me. I didn't know what that was about. Even my computer's starting to say it's time to go to sleep. That gave me a heart attack, man. Just lost one severe in Minnesota, another severe in Nebraska. So it's really going to be this line. That's going to be our main threat for the next 3 hours till that storm starts to kick off. Near Sioux Falls, near midnight 1 a.m. So if you're out in front of this line, make sure you're ready for the potential of up to 80-mile-per-hour winds here. We'll get a new meso analysis, but I don't know if we're going to get that in time for us to end or not. We'll see. These storms in Wisconsin, they should weaken after, like, Ladysmith, this general area here. Beyond here, the environment's going to become less favorable, so this is going to be your most likely area for up to 80-mile-per-hour winds over the next 2-ish hours. Let's see, 8 o'clock. So 2 hours would be 11, yeah. Yeah, they start to weaken about 11 o'clock midnight. I really don't know what's going to happen in South Dakota. That's a question mark. Today didn't go like a worst case scenario. It also wasn't the best case scenario. I don't want to jinx us yet, but it doesn't seem like we're going to see 90-mile-an-hour winds tonight. I don't really feel that threat anymore. It seems like that threat in Sioux Falls late tonight, it downtrended, to be honest with you. So I don't think we'll actually be able to see the 90-mile-per-hour wind marks that were possible today. We did see 4-inch hail, which at the beginning of the stream, I called that very, very well, 2 hours in advance, right where I thought it would happen. It happened. We saw multiple instances, 2 storms produce multiple instances of 4-inch hail. The highest wind gust I saw was 72. I don't know if we got any higher. And then, of course, we had the unwarned Wedge tornado in Minnesota today that came out of nowhere. Literally lasted one scan. 72 is the highest wind gust I see. So, seems like the damaging wind threat may be the only thing that doesn't play out today, which was kind of the main thing. The hail was definitely the main thing. The tornado threat was kind of iffy. Still is iffy. Where is that 5%? That 5%'s out here, which, I don't know. I'm very much question marking that one. I very much question mark that 5%. Because these storms don't look all that healthy as they're moving up to the northeast. So we'll see. Well, there's your SPC outlook. This should change in about 10 minutes. Hopefully less. Hector's getting no attention whatsoever. Nope. Not at all. I haven't seen one person talk about Hector. Well, I mean, I did mention the fact that it's an H storm. We have Hector and Hone ongoing at the same time. But Hone and Gilma were much more significant. Much more notable, too. So the typhoon that's expected to hit Japan still looks pretty significant. The entire track changed. If you guys remember the briefing we did about 3 days ago. I don't know if it was yesterday's briefing. I feel like it was the one 3 days ago. The expected track was like this. Now we have shifted from that track to this track. Completely different. Completely different. Probably the biggest shift in a track I have ever seen. That is a massive, massive shift in a track right there. And the intensity is still expected to become near, if not major, Category 3 status hurricane. And there is going to be a period right in here where it might be able to barely get to a major hurricane. And if we're very unlucky, it might be able to push Category 4 status in this area. So we'll see. We'll see if we get really unlucky. And that will be the 29th. So obviously today's the 26th. So Tuesday's the 27th. Wednesday's the 28th. So landfall would be sometime in the afternoon hours of the 29th, if not the morning hours of the 29th. At least that's what's projected at the moment. Another damaging wind report. Large pine tree uprooted and leaning on power lines. Wow. That is crazy. Pine tree completely uprooted. So it still has some damaging winds, that's for sure. See you later, Caleb. We'll be ending in 29 minutes, so you won't be missing out on too much. I appreciate you being in here the whole stream. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. Hopefully I'll see you in tomorrow's stream, where maybe you can sneak in on a rain shower or two. Never know. You're not supposed to get weather, though, because you're part of, you're part of the mod team. Mods don't get severe weather. Yeah, I saw it, hasn't I? It should be Category 3 now, honestly. 105 knots to MPH. Looks like it is Category 5. 5? Category 3. Yeah, that is Category 3. 105 is Cat 3. So they have it barely strengthening. I don't think that's going to happen. I would be pretty surprised if this doesn't strengthen, considering it's already Cat 3. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It should weaken before landfall, which would be the that's the good thing. Seems like our hurricane models are becoming quite in agreement of significant weakening just before landfall. So hopefully that does happen. We are talking about a landfall on the southwest side of Japan, by the way. Of a typhoon right around Category 3 status, most likely. Yeah, it should peak in intensity in probably the morning of the 28th. Actually. Hold on, let me check one thing. I said the morning of the 28th. Yeah. Either tomorrow morning or the morning of the 28th will be its peak, where it might barely be able to get to Category 4 status. All right, they did continue that significant 70 mile per hour severe in South Dakota. But look at this. It's not a line anymore. It's literally... Okay, it's literally one storm. It's now one storm here, and one storm here with that northern one weakening. So it's literally one cell now. It's not even a line. That's warned for 1.25 inch hail and 70 mile an hour winds for the next 1 hour. And let me go look at the rest of that. 1 hour and 21 minutes. I feel like the main threat has happened. Honestly, Siege, I think it really has happened. Our risk for 90 mile an hour winds should probably be mainly overnight up here. But personally, I'm starting to feel like that might not actually happen now that we're getting closer to, we're getting closer and closer to it. I'm having less confidence on it happening. Yep, new severe watch will be issued shortly. Probably in about an hour, we'll have a new watch issued out here in this area. So if you are in this area, take note that we will have the risk for 70 to 80 mile per hour winds overnight. Yep. So they're going to issue a watch here within the hour. Or within the next hour. Probably about 10 p.m. Eastern, they'll have a new watch out. We are getting a new model run, so that's good. We'll still be live for that to see what the rest of that has. I wouldn't be shocked if we get that enhanced risk expanded all the way down south, probably west of Green Bay, Wisconsin for tonight. All good, Lee. You caught the end. We're ending here in 25 minutes. We're waiting for the SPC to update. And we just got that MCD, which I was expecting. Like I said, new watch will be issued for Wisconsin in about an hour. This includes Whitehall, Stevens Point, all the way down towards Green Bay, Wisconsin. Just barely north of Beaver Dam, Wisconsin as well. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. We're just 11 likes away from the like goal for today as we're approaching the end of the stream. I can't believe we actually got that close to the like goal. I really wasn't expecting to get to anywhere close to 100. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We've reached, by the time the stream's done, over 2,000 people with word of severe weather today, which is really appreciated. Like I said, I think our main severe threat for the next 2 hours is going to be with this line here as it moves off to the east and then eventually the southeast. All the way until midnight. That storm will die out in about 3 hours. And then as that storm dies out, we should see these cells start to strengthen again in South Dakota. And they should strengthen up in this area here as they move like this. There's that new enhanced risk for severe weather. And they indeed did update it. You can see the enhanced risk was expanded very slightly. I don't really think they expanded it much at all. They really shifted the whole thing south, though. A lot of it has been shifted south. I'm very shocked they kept the enhanced risk that far north. Honestly, was expecting them to chomp off this whole portion of the risk and just leave a marginal up here. 2% Tor remains, so no longer at 5%. A 15% hail non-SIG, and a 30 SIG wind over the entire wind risk still remains. So damaging winds will be the biggest issue in this area overnight. This area, your damaging wind threat is ongoing and is actually almost over. And then this area, your damaging wind threat, I don't see you getting anything. So personal opinion, I think this will be the best shot for damaging winds right in here. On this side of the enhanced risk, and then of course in this area here. Those are the two areas I think damaging winds will be the most likely. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm really losing confidence in this storm, y'all. I know at the start of the stream we were talking about 80 to 90 mile an hour winds here. I don't know if we still have anyone watching from this area, but it looks like it's downtrended a bunch, like a bunch in this area. So you're probably still have a way to receive watches and warnings, but if you are in the remainder of this risk area here, you're probably good to go to sleep, honestly, to be real with you. I don't think we're going to see a lot out here. Definitely some thunderstorm activities, maybe winds up to 70 miles per hour. We might still have an isolated gust up to 80 somewhere between this storm here and this storm here, but I've lost confidence big time on the 80 to 90 mile an hour winds tonight. It looked a whole lot better at the start of this stream, and it is just continuously plummeted down. Continued to plummet down. So the main title didn't verify. The main reason we went live was for the possibility of 90 mile an hour winds today. That did not verify, which is good news. We did, however, see greater than 3-inch hail, which I said 3-inch hail was possible. We saw 4-inch hail, if not maybe even greater than that. And we also saw a Wedge tornado unwarned today, and we also had 3 tornado warnings. So the tornado threat, in my opinion, it performed really as expected. We weren't expecting much today, so the fact we got a Wedge was crazy. So I think the tornado threat performed as expected, just not where the SPC thought. The SPC was thinking here. Most of our tornadic activity today was in this area. This area here, and then we did have that Wedge tornado somewhere in this area. And the SPC thought the main tornado risk would be here, and they were wrong today. To just put it straightforward, they were wrong with the tornado threat. And they're still keeping that wind threat, so we could still see, you know, the threat is there. The risk is still there for 80 to 90 mile an hour winds tonight. I just don't see it happening anymore. Maybe up to 70 mile an hour winds. Like I said, I think we'll see 70 mile an hour winds. We are seeing 70 mile an hour winds right now. We still could see a gust up to 80. But I don't think we'll be seeing that 90 mile per hour threshold like I was talking about before. We should also get the new meso analysis, some new meso analysis here shortly. I don't know if we'll be live for that. It's very iffy on exactly when that comes in. It just depends on when it updates, but typically it's about 9-10 at this time we see meso analysis. And we'll be live till we'll be live for the next 19 minutes, so we might be able to see that meso analysis, see if the environment's still very favorable or not. Let's see. Well, hopefully you get at least some rain, Andrea. I don't want you to get severe weather, but hey, some rain would be much needed. The only person I want to get severe weather is me. I want all the severe storms. This whole line just got downgraded. The whole line just got downgraded. This is all now a normal severe thunderstorm warning. The northern one is tour possible. Everything else is warned for 1-inch hail and 60 mile an hour winds along this line. So we only have one significant severe, and it's the one in South Dakota that you're looking at right here for 1.25-inch hail and 70 mile an hour winds. So those storms in Minnesota, they're still going to be capable of producing 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, but they are weakening. We just got a small watch extension into Wisconsin, now including Ladysmith and Cornell. I did see something really interesting. Look at that. We actually got a second significant severe thunderstorm warning because a storm moving in from Canada is about to hit this little island up here in the middle of, I believe this is Lake... I'm just going to look it up. I think I know. I'll tell you if I'm dead wrong or right. I'm not going to cheat. But I think I know what lake this is. I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. I don't look at this lake like ever. So the main lakes I know are these. I know Lake Erie, Lake Huron, and then Lake Erie. Wait, what? Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie. And then, sure, this is apparently Lake. Let me look. Lake Superior. I don't look up here, y'all. I don't look up here. But that is a significant severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds and 1.5-inch hail. Very unique. That is probably one of the coolest things we've seen today, because this area, it's not common they get under a severe, let alone a significant severe. And funny enough and weird enough, this area here, I think, let me pull out Radar Omega, because that's where I know where it is. Yeah, this tiny island here in Rhode Island was also under a severe storm. These islands don't get storms that often that are significant, and this storm got a significant supercell that was rotating in Rhode Island earlier today, and now we have a significant severe for this island up here in Lake Superior. Very unique. We've seen some pretty cool things today. Unfortunately, one of those was 4-inch hail, and oh, we got a video of the Wedge tornado. Let me see if I can verify this, see if it actually looks like... Heck yeah, that's a Wedge tornado. Yeah, that is definitely a Wedge tornado. It looked to be very fast. It looked to be like a minute of a Wedge tornado, and then boom, done. Didn't seem to do much damage, and it seems to be over a rural area, so hopefully it didn't do much of anything. But we did actually see an Unwarned, so here's your event verification. 90-mile-an-hour winds didn't happen. The greatest severe gust recorded was 72. 72-mile-an-hour winds, 4-plus-inch hail happened. We had a very, very obvious picture of 4-plus-inch hail. And then we had an unwarned Wedge tornado, as well as 3 other tornado warnings in South Dakota. So, in my opinion, the tornado threat verified, just not where we expected. The hail threat overperformed, and the damaging wind threat, in my personal opinion, I believe it did underperform, considering we were looking at a long-tracked MCS to potentially even a derecho today. I do think the damaging wind threat underperformed quite a bit. So, I mean, you never know. Maybe, maybe this will somehow kick out a 90-mile-per-hour wind gust. You never know. I just don't see it happening. But yeah, I really don't see any storms that are gonna give us a 90-mile-an-hour gust tonight, which is good news. You know, having a threat not verify, especially damaging winds, that's good news. That is good news. Although, you know, it's not the best look on the SPC, but I mean, come on, they still did a good job. These risks are very hard to forecast. Their Thundertime risks. Thundertime risk? What? They're summertime risks. And those are really difficult to predict. And the SPC successfully predicted this 5 days in advance. 5 days. They had a 15% chance out here on day 5. We were talking about this almost a week ago at this point. So I think the forecast did very well in terms of where we were looking, what we were talking about. Just that wind threat did underperform by, like I said, in my opinion, quite a bit. We still had a lot of damage from damaging winds. We still had a lot of instances of 70-plus mile-an-hour winds. Yes, we did have a Wedge tornado today. Unwarned. SPC's done worse. Andrea, why you gotta call him out like that? That's crazy. I mean, you're not wrong. So we are beginning to wrap up, y'all. We have just 12 minutes left. I'll see if the mesoanalysis is in yet. Okay, that will be in 5 minutes. So, just before we end, we'll have the newest mesoanalysis. Flash warning. But yeah, glad I could be here for 4 hours tracking this with you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. This will probably be our longest live stream out of the 3 we're doing this week, unless Wednesday is somehow a big tornado outbreak. I mean, you never know. It doesn't look the worst at the moment, so Wednesday could be a longer live stream. You never know. So we'll prepare for that. Tomorrow shouldn't be that big of a stream. It doesn't look like a big day, so we'll continue to monitor it. I will be live tomorrow around 6 p.m. We're already planning that. Whether it be a live briefing or coverage, I don't know. And Wednesday will most likely be some coverage for the tornado risk over South Dakota, North Dakota. Connor Croft is going to be heading up that way. He's probably going to start his drive tomorrow up towards South Dakota, North Dakota. So, yeah. I know we're about to end, but whilst this mesoanalysis loads in, I'm going to just take a very quick break because I haven't had one this whole stream. So, I'll be right back. I know we have just 10 minutes left, but give me a moment. Alrighty, y'all. I am back. I thought the camera died for a sec. Nope. This camera has done really well for me. 2 of my best purchases in life is that camera and this mic. They've both lasted me already a year, and I've had no issues with them. I did have a little issue one stream with the camera. I remember it had a glitch, and I had to go plug in the USB, but that was simply because the USB was falling out. So both have been fantastic. But yeah, man, these 4 hours went by pretty fast. It went by pretty fast. There was a little slow point in it, but it went by pretty quick. 62-mile-an-hour wind report there. Let me go back over to this site. Yeah. These are all normal severes, like I said. But I mean, we're probably still seeing up to 70-mile-an-hour winds here. I mean, there you go. Multiple trees down, widespread power outages. Speaking of power outages, before we look at mesoanalysis, we'll look at power outages. I'll quickly tell you. Wow, Minnesota was hit hard. Over 100,000 people without power now. So yeah, this line definitely took a toll on the power outages out there. 100,000 people without power in eastern Minnesota. All right, new mesoanalysis is in. Yikes. Yeah, everything is capped now. Welcome to nocturnal hours. Everything is capped. Everything is now capped. All in this blue is capped. So here's 2 hours ago. Now, it is all capped out. We could still see a this storm right here. It's going to be on that borderline of instability, so it should still continue to thrive, at least somewhat there. And then this line should continue for probably the next 2-3 hours here. As it moves, the storm was a little uncertain. It seems like it's going to move more like this, from what I've seen. I'll go check some models really quick. Nope. It looks like it's gonna go straight. Just like that. Pretty much straight. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna look at this one area from Luke, and then we'll start concluding the stream. They just issued another big severe there. You can see it in this big yellow polygon for 60-mile-an-hour winds, 0.1-inch hail. Is this where you are, Luke? If it is, you're perfectly fine. You're just getting some lightning and some very heavy rain, and that should be it for the night. So just don't go outside. You'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow, but probably for the evening threat. It looks like we'll have a threat tomorrow, late afternoon, early evening. So we'll be live sometime about 6 p.m. Eastern for a risk of some cells that could be strong to severe out in this area. I'm uncertain if it will be a coverage stream or a briefing. It may be a quick 1-hour stream, or it may be coverage. It just depends. I'll see how it looks tomorrow morning, and then I'll make the call on whether it will be a briefing or coverage tomorrow around 6 o'clock. So yeah, and then we'll be live for multiple hours Wednesday. Wednesday already looks like a significant day for severe weather and potentially even a few tornadoes. So yeah, that's going to be about it for the stream, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to this 4-hour live coverage, live stream. It was great to have you in here. Flash warning in the background whilst we loop what we've tracked here today. And if you can, on your way out, make sure you hit that like button. We're just 8 likes away. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on the channel. If you want more weather content like this, we'll be here live streaming for the next 3 days here. And probably Thursday. It's uncertain, but we'll probably have a stream Thursday. Definitely a live stream tomorrow, and definitely a stream Wednesday. So I appreciate the mods for Mod and Chat and everybody for tuning in. Once again, if you can, share this live stream, share this channel with your family, friends, social media. Help spread the word of severe weather. Hit that like button. Just 7 likes until 100. And you guys definitely hit that like button and share the stream, because we reached over 2,100 people with the word of severe weather today. And like I said, on your way out, if you can, subscribe to the channel. If you want to return, make sure you subscribe so that way YouTube recommends me to your feed. And hit that notification bell set to all so you know when I go live or upload a video. That is going to be it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's live stream sometime right around 6 p.m. Eastern. Once again, thank you mods for Mod and Chat and everybody for being here. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Stay safe, watch severe weather in the tropics. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch severe weather in the tropics, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye.